Players Planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fires going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take you for your money and whatever else bring. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. Take me. Guitar Players Planet. 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 Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way the music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the lands of new. stranger. How can I break this spell? If I do one thing right, do I make two things wrong? If I walk that fine line, I will always take the fall. If I go to the left, I can hear from the right. I sleep all day long, then I'm dreaming through the night. One day I might change. Just a man who's dying, but only time will tell. Just another stranger, another lost lone ranger. How can I break this spell? Used to always tell me to always look ahead. Looking back only means I'm much better off dead. I know that I can change. I know what I want now. The time has come. I know what I have to do. I gotta stop. Turn on the lights. Look around. Give up the fight. Just a man who's just another stranger, another lost lone ranger. How can I break this spell? Break the
We're here.
What is up?
Happening.
What's that? What's happening? I gotta move over. I'm not centered. Scott's got his ice in his little jar. He's got whiskey in the jar over there. And yeah, so what's happening now? We got 5 people. Norm Hughes, who is, believe it or not, Norm is our latest entrant into the Mars Cam giveaway. So thank you, Norm, for sending me the entry. That's awesome. Pete keeps on jumping in and out. Pete will be here, I guess. I think he's just jumping in and out for some reason. I think he got confused between the Zoom and the Melon. So he's coming in. But I do have some bad news. Hendrick had to reschedule. It's unfortunate, but he wanted an opportunity to get me a Star Aid to kind of farm out to us to kind of see
Demo.
what we could do. Maybe I'll take it for a couple days, and because you can send it to me first, and then I'll send it to you guys. I won't send it to Scott because Scott's not gonna have a house.
Yeah.
But but Eric, I'll probably send it to you next. And then just do a little round robin and see what we can do by the time, because I'm probably going to have it before Christmas. So,
well, hopefully we'll be able to, with these Midwest skies, we'll be able to use it.
I'll be right back.
So, what, you're leaving already? We already lost Scott. but yeah. So Pete's here. Pete showed up. Hold on, Pete.
There we go.
There it is.
There you go. Pete was bouncing back and forth between Zoom and I think I did a little confusing thing there, but because Melon doesn't have a green room where you could just kind of hang out before and talk a little bit, and so I figured we use Zoom as a green room, and then when we're ready to go on, we just go on when the song's over, and that's it. But
cool.
But anyway, so. All right, so Pete, I don't know if you heard, but Hendrick had to reschedule. So he is interested in doing it. He wants to do it. He just wanted an opportunity to get out to us a Star Aid demo, a prototype.
Okay, good.
So he wanted to give us the opportunity to kind of look at it and talk about it, so we would know what we were talking about too, to when, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kind of float that around between me, Eric, and whoever else wants an opportunity to test it out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I'll float that around to the group. This is for the group. This is not for the general public. Just so you know, you guys that are listening. I may never get it back. No offense. I trust you guys, but I really don't. So.
No offense. I trust you, but I don't trust you.
Yeah, I trust you as far as I can throw you. Considering I haven't met any of you live. Let me get this Dan at Astral Web away from.
It's like it's like this.
I don't know why that's so big there. Let's see. How do I delete this?
I feel like Wilson from Home Improvement.
No,
there you go.
Like that. There you go. I'll do like one of those. There you go. Leave her like right there.
Like, hey there, neighbor. Howdy ho.
He was great in Home Improvement. I really liked him in Terminator.
Yeah. There we go.
In Terminator.
That's right. I gotta flex my swag. You know, tomorrow's the big game.
The Army. Yeah, there you go. Navy game. That's right.
Yeah. So I gotta represent and show love to my middies.
Of course. Yeah, my dad was in the Navy too. He was a parachute rigger in the Navy.
Okay.
Got out, I guess, about a year before Nam.
Okay.
And, and then he, retired and became a postman. So.
Oh, that's even worse.
Hey, listen, let me tell you, 30 years as a postal worker, let me tell you, his benefits were styling. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yep.
But his whatever, that's a different story altogether. We can go on. If you want to know more about my personal life, feel free to email me. But,
hey, Eric, what are the uniforms for tomorrow? I mean, that's the thing I look forward to at the Army.
I don't know, and that's the one thing I'm looking forward to, because Navy always has some of the most awesome helmets.
Yeah,
and it's just, I'm really looking forward to it. They come out with so much swag, it's crazy.
It is amazing, isn't it?
It is so much fun, and I just love seeing both the brigade and and of midshipmen and the cadets parading out and everything. So it's awesome. And one year I'm gonna actually get to go. Yeah. I'm making it a bucket list.
There you go.
To go to an Army Navy game.
But I tell you what, speaking of college football, what about this head coaching carousel? I mean, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. The whole thing. Who was it? Was it Oklahoma? Was it the guy from
Not a loss.
Oklahoma State ended up going, somewhere, and this whole thing. Yeah, it's nuts. It's crazy. But besides that, I think about it, but I'll be totally honest with you. Besides Army Navy, I don't really follow much until now. When you get into the college football playoffs and Army Navy and stuff like that, because I'll be honest, I'll probably never see my midshipmen in the college football playoff or anything like that. So, it's all good. And I've got cousins and, and other family members who are Army. We all give each other all kinds of grief, and now that my oldest is in the Air Force, the Navy Air Force game, we give each other kinds of grief there too. So it's fun. It's just fun stuff.
Cool.
But the Astro.
You see my new ticker?
Dan's got nothing about
Dad, you know nothing about college football. That's okay. It's okay.
It's all just switch that back.
It's all fun. But
our schedule still remains the same for the next couple of weeks. Amy Astro is still going to be on, as far as I know, for next Friday.
Nice. Awesome.
So that's going to be pretty cool. I don't know if you saw her latest post. Apparently, she has a college graduate in the family now. So that's pretty nice. So congratulations to her and her family. Disregard, obviously, Hendrick from Star 8, obviously, tonight. That's going to be rescheduled sometime in January after the Evo tour for APT. And that'll be on January 7th. So it'll be sometime after that. That is to be determined. And then once, probably sometime, what is it? The Astro Imaging Conference coming up in California, I believe, if I remember right.
AIC.
AIC is coming
AIC.
up somewhere in that area. Maybe when Filippo and Omar are in the area, if we could kind of swing it, we're going to kind of get a recording going and have the three of them. But it's definitely going to happen. It just is a matter of it. It's been going back and forth between live and recorded. So we're not sure what's going on yet with that. But it all depends on plane flights and availability. So more to come on that.
Yeah. Cool.
Other than that's really it.
I would love to have an opportunity, because I chatted with William Yang several months ago. And I would love, and I've reached out to him again, just to ask him just to do some simple Q&A. But it would be so cool if I can ask him if he would be interested in joining and talking about his new scopes and everything.
Yeah.
So that would be really cool.
That'd be great. And I'd love to get a rep from ZWO too. Whoever's, G's out. So, I don't know who's kind of taking the lead there now.
Right.
So, so that'd be nice to have. So I'm sure Simon could probably get in touch with somebody, or,
Yeah. Simon might be a good resource for that.
Yep.
But
Pete's already been a great resource for a couple of guests already. So thank you, Pete. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you. But speaking of ZWO, I'm falling more and more in love with the 2600. The idea of getting the 2600 mono.
Oh God, I thought you'd actually pulled the trigger.
Not yet.
Well, I will tell you, and I don't want to mention names, but somebody who was watching the show the other night pulled the trigger at Camera Concepts on the 2600 filter wheel and the 2-inch filters.
Nice.
For it. So she, and that's all I'll say is she, because I don't want to mention anybody's name. I'm getting people's pocketbooks and everything. But she's gonna be loving it. You'll be seeing. You've already seen her on Facebook. You'll see her more once she's done. She's got a couple of William Optics scopes, and she's gonna. So that's been a big seller this Christmas. Is those larger full frame, the 6200.
6200, sure.
I have
That's
one.
Four bills, maybe.
I have a 6200 sitting right over here, right here. I have one, and for those
on loan?
No, I wish. So for those of you who've been watching me talking about the observatory that I'm kind of helping put together, I'm now flying this solo because Jeff is now staying in the store, so that should be fun. But I have a 127, a Solar Max 3, an Ascar 200 with a 2600 on that. I have the ES 127 with the 6200 on that. I have the Asgard 200 with the EAF and everything all set up and ready to go with that. And a side by side mount, which I don't even know how to. Maybe Pete, maybe you could let me know about the CEM 120, or maybe anybody else knows the CEM 120. If there's anything I got to do to kind of rotate this 90 degrees so it's side by side.
Yeah, I'll definitely be able to help you out offline. That won't be a problem, Dan.
Yeah, I did it with the EQ8R. Obviously, I don't know if there's, I'm not sure what the deal is with the CEM 120, but I'm doing it Sunday.
Is the 120? Is that the one with the encoders?
No, he didn't get the EC. He didn't get the EC. He just got the standard.
He's got the standard then.
Yeah. What was it, like $5,000?
Yeah, something like that.
Just like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a standard CEM 120. It's going up an observatory in Simsbury, Connecticut, at a prep school. And
Nice.
So I've been circulating a picture around regarding this school. Basically, the person that took it over, the head of science over there, walked up to the dome, and literally the dome was off the observatory. There was a 14 or 16-inch Meade Schmidt out in the elements for about 10 years, I guess.
Whoa.
And I mean, he sent the scope to us and asked us if it was salvageable. Obviously, it was not.
Of course not.
I mean, it was just I got a picture of it. And you just wanted to cry. There was bird dung and a whole bunch. It was. I mean, there was not one piece of coating on the corrector. The fungus on the inside was just horrible. But yeah, we forget about the mechanics. The computers inside were just forget it.
Yeah.
Shot. But so we hooked him up. We got him he wanted to do more EAA.
Okay.
And it's something a little bit more simpler than another Schmidt. He may go to another Schmidt later on to go a little bit deeper, but you got to remember these are this isn't PhD colleges. This is prep school kids getting ready for college.
Mhm. So
he just wanted something. And it was all donated too. Everything was donated. They got the money and they sent it to us, and we give them this, and now we're going up. So
nice.
So they had like something. They had a really good budget. Let's just say that, and So I'm going up there Sunday to finish the setup. I set up the Eagle. They got an Eagle. They got all this stuff. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Good.
What's the capacity of that 120? Is it over 100 pounds?
Yeah. It's a little bit more than the EQ8. I think it's 115.
Yes, it's 120.
It is. Is it 120? I thought it was different than the number.
Yeah, no, I think it's actually the same as the number. Like the CEM 60 is 60 pounds, the 40 is 40 pounds.
I thought I saw a little different. I could be wrong. I thought you're probably right. It would make sense that it's 120 pounds. It would make sense, but
did you hook them up with some nice stainless steel weights?
No, I'm waiting for you to get. Yeah, see, it's stability for up to 115 pound payload.
Yeah, okay, 115.
Yeah,
you're right.
So I had a feeling. I knew because it just struck me funny when I was looking at it the other day. I was getting myself kind of versed in the mount before I go up there, and I'm looking at it like, why is it a CEM 120 if it's only 115?
Yeah.
They wanted to make it even.
Yeah. But the price of that, and overall, it's $4,500. That's not bad for a real observer, for a really good observatory level grade mount.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking in between the EQ8 and the CEM 120, and they're very similar. They're really very similar. The only thing that's different is the weighting. The center balance.
Right.
And that's really it. Everything else is almost dead on.
Wow. Okay.
Unless you get the EC. Unless you get the EC version, obviously.
Is the payload the same?
What's up?
Payload the same?
Yeah.
115?
Yeah. Well, no, I got 110, I think, on the EQ8.
Okay.
But, I mean, 5 pounds when you're over 100. I mean.
Yeah.
But
well, they're not going to be anywhere close to payload on that. They won't even be probably
not even
half of that.
No, not even if I go. Even if I go side by side on the with the 127 and the Solar Max, you're only talking with everything on it 50 pounds.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you really, yeah, but he wanted the ability to, if you wanted to get a 14-inch Schmidt, he wants the ability to kind of throw it on there and not have to
Right.
worry about pier plates and refitting and and all this kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
So that's why. And you know what? In all fairness, it's all being donated by a really. It just happens to be a customer of Camera Concepts that was actually donating to the school.
That's it. That's really cool.
Yeah, so it's really nice, and it's a nice school. I can't wait to go up there. It's gonna be really fun.
Good.
Nice.
So, has anybody done any imaging at all? Because it's been really difficult for me. I know, Scott, of course you haven't because you've got the move coming up.
Imaging.
There you go.
Imaging now. No, you know what? I'm really kind of. I'm helping a lot of other customers building their own mini rigs.
Yeah.
You know, people are starting to get equipment now, as they were promised somewhere towards the end of the year, and now they're getting the equipment, and now they're like, okay, what the hell? What do I do? What do I do with all this stuff? And so they call me up and say, you want to come over and help me out? And I say, sure. And I go over and I help them out, and I set them up, and I do this and that, either ASIR Pro or Eagle or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's what I've been doing a lot of. And of course, those are done on clear nights, which I should really kind of set up my sequence before and just hit the button and then leave, like I keep on talking about on the show. And I just don't. I forget. I run out. And, you know, life gets in the way.
Right.
but
no, definitely, life definitely does.
Yeah.
So as I was mentioning to you guys earlier, so the Skybox is coming along pretty well. And right now, and I was telling you guys, I'm debating because right now the height of it is at 6.5.
Yeah, you were saying.
Height. And so it's 6.5 by 6 feet wide, you know, so square, 6 feet wide square. So it seems, so right now it's doing really well as far as clearing, because the actual height of the Rasa, including, you know, the dew shield, is about 7 feet. But I'm wondering if it would make more sense to maybe push it to 8 feet and see, into like to your point, Scott, and maybe take a look and see what my clearance looks like. Because I'll even, you know, I can even grab a one of my other, you know, like guide scopes, one of my like my 60 millimeter refractor, that guide scope, and just use that and just move around and just see what my clearances are going to look like to the east and to the west. You know, but it's looking so far. It's still out there, and right now we've got wind advisories, and I've got it weighted down. I don't know if I shared this with you guys or not. I don't know if I shared it with you.
We just lost Daniel.
Oh, what happened to Dan?
I know.
We can't lose the host.
Oh, there he is.
I'm here. I just had to go get something from the other room.
Oh, okay. So here, so people who are, you know, interested in my progress and everything, I'll share my screen here, and let me know if you've got this up yet.
And give me a second. You're up.
Okay, and there it is. Let me know if you see it.
Yep.
Okay, so there it is right now, and this is 6 feet. Like I said, 6 feet square, 6.5 in height, and I have sandbags that I purchased from Amazon. They can hold up to about 28 pounds of sand each.
Okay.
So I filled the ones that are on the base. Those are maxed out. There's another one on the other side here you can't see.
Right.
And then I've gone about 14, 15 pounds, maybe a little bit less on the actual beams on the horizontal, and I'm
Okay.
doing them there. So if I go here, so here's the front. This is it facing. So I'm facing south. And so far so good. And I have put up temporarily just so I was able to do some tests. I did put up a 9-foot long, I believe it was 9 foot by 6 foot
Okay.
tarp around just this side here and this side here, because I was looking at which way the wind was going, and it was blowing north. It was blowing from the northwest.
Gotcha.
West, and it wasn't doing too bad, but there were some gusts and stuff like that where it was even here catching that the shield. And so I'm just kind of curious if I raise that up, even if I go another half inch, maybe if I just make it 7, I don't know yet. But having, that, I'll be really curious to see how everything turns out. So, and there's the cross beams right there. And now I've got it weighted down. So it's just basically all weighted down. I haven't really, with the exception of this front pole here, this front beam where I can unscrew it to actually get into the area and then screw it back in. Everything else, I didn't use any cement. It's just basically,
Just popped in.
pop it in there really hard with a rubber mallet, and it's staying in there. And then I just weight it down with sand. So maybe tomorrow, but I will, hopefully I have the opportunity, because now I've got the windscreens, and I will take a look-see and see how things go.
Cool.
So, yep, it's coming along.
Sounds like fun, man. Sounds
Yeah,
like fun.
it's interesting. It's interesting.
And my buddy Eddie is talking about the Penguins game. Yeah, Isles suck. There you go.
And what's this about the Penguins being bought by the Fenway Group?
Well, what's his name's out. So I mean, it left an
Yeah,
opening.
Lemieux's
So
out, yeah.
Lemieux's out, so it left an opening, and he saved him from bankruptcy and got him out of the gutter. So I mean, hey, you know what? He did what he had to do, and he saved his organization, and that's it. So I know Eric was talking about wind speed and everything. So you guys know I've been talking about the whatchamacallit, the weather station.
The weather station. Yeah.
So I plugged this in for everybody, and just so they could see. So
Okay.
that's the weather station monitor that goes by my bed. So if it rains, actually not if it rains, but if the barometer drops, it'll send me an audible alarm to wake my butt up to bring the scope in, hopefully before anything got rained on.
Yeah.
But it's really, really cool. I mean, and I did look into from a lot of people. We're talking about getting insurance for the stuff outside the house. And I want to thank everybody for leading, because I didn't think that they would do that because it's outside. It's like leaving your car door open to me,
So if it's on your property, it's covered.
So I got that. So now I sleep a little bit better at night. so if it does rain, I know it's covered. But it gives you temperature. It gives you your forecast, how much rain for the week, month, day, wind speed, wind direction, barometric pressure, whatever. It gives you everything. So and it's all Wi-Fi. So this is on my roof all the way above my house. So that's kind of cool. That's a little nifty thing.
Yeah, if I do something like that, I'll have to most likely, because I have solar panels on my roof.
Okay.
And everything. So most likely I'll have to get some sort of a mast to put onto one of my fence posts.
Okay.
Because we have 7-foot privacy fence. No, 8 foot, sorry. And I would just have to put it there and just have it, just off of one of the posts there.
Yeah. And with the Atlas and the Iris, I think is the other one, the cheaper one. They actually come with a bracket.
Okay.
That will do it to the side of the house.
Okay.
So, and it's pretty, it's pretty stable. And I bought an extension tube too, so it goes up a little bit higher.
Sure.
But it, if something happens up there, I'll be damned if I'm going up on a ladder and doing anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, I mean, it's up there and it doesn't look as offensive as I thought it was going to look.
Okay.
It works great, and I haven't had a problem yet. And it's been pretty accurate. The weather and everything has been really good. And if you ever want to know what the weather is at my house, I share it on Weather Underground. So you can find out where my weather station is, and you can find out what the weather is at my house. So, and here is one of the things that I'll be bringing to the observatory, and this is what I was talking about before. I thought this was really, really cool. This is the ACL 200 from ASCAR, and this kind of very similar to what Eric has.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah.
This is going up to the observatory.
Is that a camera lens?
Yep.
It's the ASCAR 200.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's a what is it? 1.4. 1.4. And
Yep.
it's got the EAF on the side with the bracket and the
Belt-driven
the,
focuser.
well, yeah, it's all belt. There's a belt right here.
Yeah.
It's a belt. It's EAF.
Uh-huh.
So it's EAF with the belt with the stuff from Deep Sky Dad from Pavel over in Slovenia, I think he is. And this has the 294 color on the back.
Beautiful color.
Yep.
Good.
And it's all spaced and focused and ready to go for him. So that's going to be pretty cool.
That's great.
And since I got crappy weather coming in, this is my next project. I am going to clean my sensor.
Oh,
Sensor cleaning kit from Delkin. And it's got I got this. I use this at the store. And it's the sensor scope. So you can kind of get in there and look at the sensor, and it's magnified. It's got a light on it and everything. It's actually pretty cool. But that's what I bought it for. This guy right here. I don't even know if the light works, but it's a magnifier pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if the battery is in there, but yes, it is. So the battery is in there. And you literally light it up and you look down and it magnifies your sensor so you can see any specs on the sensor at all.
Smart.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, if you get this for like $45 just for the scope, but it comes with also swabs and liquid and all that kind of stuff for the cleaning of it. I actually use this. I use this exact thing at the store because I just love the fact that it's illuminated and
Yep.
it's magnified, so you could see any little speck on the sensor.
Yep.
Now, yes, and people are going to say, well, you can do this and you can, flats will take care of everything. Well, sometimes they don't, and that's
I
why
completely
I'm at now.
disagree. I agree with you, Daniel. I disagree with
Oh.
that mentality.
Oh,
know,
I
that-
was like, okay.
No. That you can take it out in software. Why would you want to do that when you can clean it?
Yeah.
Yep. The less you have to do in post,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
better. If you got to do, division, well, if you're going to have to do extra subtraction in DBE or extra division because of vignetting, because your flats aren't just right, it's a lot easier if you don't have to worry about the dust modes, the fingerprint. Well, hopefully it's no fingerprints, but the dust modes mostly, and get it all out before you have to worry about fixing something.
Yep.
Yep.
Moral of the story: keep your crap clean.
Yeah. Yep. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend, maybe if I have time during my travels, because I'm going to Connecticut on Sunday, as I said.
That's speaking of flats, that's one of my biggest struggles right now is to try to understand why it seems like there's vignetting on my flats.
On one-shot color shots, right?
No, this doesn't matter. It
Okay.
seems that way. that this is happening, and it's just frustrating.
So when you now have you, I know you like to use APP to stack and stuff, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you? Well, once you're done with that, and you bring it into PI, what's your DBE process?
I'm usually, as far as DBE, I don't do it as much because I've done the background extraction in APP. Then I go and bring it. Then I start with PI after I've done the background extraction.
Now, okay, so in APP, you gotta educate me a little bit because I don't know a lot about APP. But does APP have a division background extraction and a subtraction? Because the division will help you with your uneven flats. Because as far as I know, APP is a lot automatic when it kind of goes through it. So I don't know if APP has both.
No, it's just basically
It's just basic gradient subtraction.
Yeah.
All right. So you may want to go in because you may want to go in and just try it. Just try place your points just like you would do in DBE. Place your points. Bigger sample size to me is better than smaller sample size.
Right.
And get it around and see if you get that nice smooth gradient that you're expecting. No big divots or chunks or craziness going on in your gradient map.
Yep.
And then do a division. Try a division before you start, histogram stretching and all that. Before do it in total nonlinear. And
right.
Try the division in there too.
Okay. Yeah, because I know if I am using if I'm going straight PI, say if I'm doing WBPP and I'm just going straight, then yes, I do start off. And this was based off of what I learned from the Master of the Pix Insight. Was I start off with division.
Yep, and end off with subtraction.
And then once that's done, then I go to subtraction. Yes.
Yep, absolutely, and that may cure some of your problem. It may make your problem worse. I don't know. But
yeah.
You try it. So
yeah, who knows?
Pete, what you been up to, man? We're not talking hockey. You got quiet on me.
Oh no, I'm just now. Yeah, I was just thinking about what you're going to go through going up there on Sunday and figuring out how you can just go ahead and just change that saddle around just to be able to put the side by side. So you'd rather have it as a side by side instead of a piggyback setup?
Well, I really, knowing now what I originally, the side by side was a different setup. It wasn't this two small refractors. I mean, it's really, you don't need to do this. So I'm gonna talk to him tomorrow, and because I'm gonna bring some extra equipment up there with me, some extra dovetails and stuff. And that being said, I'm gonna try and get him to go piggyback because. The whole thing is that he's going to have the 127. All right. Now, you're not going to use usually the 127 and the Solar Max at the same time.
No.
Not going to happen. I mean, if you want it to look cool, you could do it. It looks cool. But other than looking cool, it doesn't really give you anything.
It's on a roof. Who cares about the posing?
Yeah. So just go 127. And if you want, piggyback the ACL 200 on top. And then you could slide you could either put the guide scope to the side or a guide scope even on top of the ACL.
Yep.
You could do any of that. And that might be the way to go to me. I don't see the point in going side by side. If you had two 127s or two 150s that you're saying that, okay, then, go side by side. But if you're dealing with a weight that's less than half of your payload, to me, I mean, Pete, you're the expert. So to me, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yep, I agree with you too. Plus, I mean, the fact is that width-wise, right? I mean, he's taken up a lot more width-wise than if it was on top of each other. So I was just thinking that same thing, thinking that if you can convince them, I think you'd be better off doing it that way, Dan.
Yeah, what about the guide scope?
Well, the guide scope's only a 50.
Yeah, no, but is it going to be scope, guide scope?
Or just
So
put it on
what-
the side. I mean, does
You can
does
do
he
it on the
have
side.
like the? Yeah, just put on the side. Like, what kind of focuser does he have? Is there like a little mount on the focuser that he could put the guide
Yeah,
scope?
no, he's going to have the Asato eventually, right? So Precise Parts in their ultimate wisdom sent us the wrong adapter, and so
Lovely.
yeah, it was not a smart. I don't know what happened. That's the second time that's happened to me over the past year, that they sent me the right one side and wrong the other. But whatever the case may be, we ordered a new one, but right now I just retrofitted that scope with an EAF for right now. Just to get it, because the donor's coming on Tuesday, and so we want to show him
To show
some
him,
stuff. Yeah, so show him what he's getting for his money. And so that being said, the Asato I have, but I don't have the right adapter, so I had to get another one. So that's about 4 weeks out.
Yeah.
So right now, it's the EAF right now. So there's no kind. He does have the little Explore T kind of thing going on, which is not really helpful. But I do have. I'm going to have the Eagle on top, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And then I have another single bracket there.
Hey, maybe you could sell him a Star Raid once you get to understand the Star Raid. You're going to really enjoy that Star Raid. Believe me, you're going to absolutely enjoy that, Dan. And I tell you what, give it to Eric and let Eric play with it, because boy, once you guys see this thing, it really just brings guiding to that next step.
Now, do you perchance know any specs on it at all? Because I couldn't get anything.
Yeah, typically what it is that what happened is I initially met Heinrich 2 years ago at AIC, and I knew about the Star Raid because I actually just reached out to him and I said, hey, this is a silver bullet. This is something radically different. It's just not another Me Too product. And so what happens is he came by the booth when I was working at OSI, and we had a lengthy conversation, and he had this little unit. And I looked at it, and the fact is that it's self-calibrating. It calibrates anywhere. And so you can point the Star Raid at any sphere, hemisphere, north, south, east, west, doesn't matter. It'll just self-calibrate. The new revision now that he's got, revision B, will actually do dithering.
Okay.
So ideally what you want to get is you want to either put it on like a little ZWO guide scope, something that's not more than about 200 millimeter vocal length.
Okay.
It needs to have that kind of a very, very wide field of view. But I don't want to give you too much information until you try it, because once you try it, Dan, believe me, you're going to be really impressed with this little unit.
Okay.
I mean, I can spend a lot of time talking about it, but I'm going to let you find that out, and then you and I are going to be talking afterwards.
I'm psyched. I can't wait. I do have, as a matter of fact, I know Eric has one too, but
What's that?
but where is it?
Is Hedrick going to be sending you the Koa optic with it, or is he going to ask you to put it on your own little guide scope?
I don't know what he's sending me, but he's sending me stuff. So
ask him. You're going to have to ask him if it's going to be the Koa optic, because that's going to be a great little optic. There's a little Koa optic. Okay, so that's what you've got right there. That's a ZWO. Yeah.
Yep.
So it'll fit on there. Yeah, you'll take that little guide camera off, and it'll fit right on there.
yeah, so I mean, just throw it on again. This is what I think 162 focal length, I think, if I remember right. But I mean, I'm gonna try and get the whole thing with them. Give me what it works with, what you're selling it. You know what I mean? So I want to see,
Hold on just 1 second. Let me pull the one off of this scope here.
Oh, he's got one. Wade said rubber band the guide scope.
Okay, so what it is here is, hopefully there's enough light here that you'll be able to see it. Let's see, is it? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so what I've got here is, let me just pull this off. But what I've got is I've got this attached to a Koa optic. It's a little Koa optic, and it's 100 millimeter little lens. It's a little C-mount lens. And what you can do then is I've actually got like a little carbon fiber little dew shield on it.
Okay.
But it's 100 millimeter f2. And what it does then is it will actually fit right here to the Star Raid. So what I've got here with the Star Raid is I've actually got the Losmandy C-mount. You can see the DVA clamp.
Yep.
You can see now the Star Raid right here. But this device right here is a little ring that will actually secure it to the DVA clamp.
Got it.
So let's see if I can pull that up a little bit here.
Yep. Okay.
So you can see
Yep.
really what you're looking at now is you're going to be looking at a total length of probably no more than about 6 to 8 inches. And it's just real lightweight. I mean, you're going to absolutely just enjoy it. So the fact that you've already got that guide scope, you'll be able to attach the Star Aid right to it. So basically that's what you're looking at right here, total length.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's nothing.
It's just really just absolutely ideal. And then you'll actually get the cabling and everything else. So you got have like an ST4 cable and then the Ethernet cable.
Okay.
And there'll be like a little splitter box that will actually fix somewhere. I've got the splitter box fixed right here to the DVA clamp, and in turn, then that will just go to the port on the mount.
All right.
Yeah, Mark was asking, because of this being 200 millimeter, how would it work with something like an Edge or something with a larger focal length scope, like 150 millimeter? Or
Yeah, typically what will happen is we've always been tell people is that you don't want to exceed a 6-to-1 or a 5-to-1 ratio of a guide scope image scale to your primary image scale. Heinrich and I had a long talk about this about a little year ago, and I said, Heinrich, what happens if we want to put this, say, on a 300 millimeter vocal length guide scope? He says, Pete, it can be done. As a matter of fact, I actually gave him a monster mode. So if somebody wants to use OAG, you can definitely use the Star Aid with OAG. But when it comes to guide scopes, they'll probably mention that you want to kind of keep it at around about 200, maybe no more than 300 millimeters. And there's a special reason.
So you're looking at sub 1,000, about 1,000 max focal length.
Yeah, that's right on there. So, but as I said, the beauty is that, we'll let Heinrich talk about that because these will probably be a lot of questions that a lot of customers will have. So rather than me kind of speak on behalf of Heinrich, I'd rather just go ahead and when he comes on, we'll just let him answer those questions.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
Yep, sure.
Yeah. So again, we'll reschedule with Hendrik. Hendrik or Heinrich?
Heinrich, I think is what. Yeah, he likes to speak.
Heinrich. I butcher everybody's name.
Heinrich. Yeah.
Will it fit into a standard 1.25 inch? Okay. Well, the guide scopes from William Optics, like the 61.
Yep.
I think that's over 300 millimeter focal length. It's 360, I think.
Yeah.
360 millimeter focal length.
That's
Is that
right.
is that too big?
Well, I tell you what, I tried it on my Stellarvue 60 millimeter, and I was able to get it to work. That was no problem, and that's 360 millimeters.
Yeah, I think that's what Williams is. I think it's a 360.
It's 360.
Yeah,
So
that's the one I have.
I think that would be pretty much just about the max because Heinrich said between 200 and 300. I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue to push it up to 360, but I know definitely he doesn't want to kind of push up farther than that. But one of the questions that I'll ask him, because I haven't found out from him yet if he's actually tried it on the monster mode to do OAG. So if somebody's pushing it up to maybe like 200 and 2800 millimeter vocal length and they're using OAG, then yeah, I'd be curious just to see if the Star Aid is capable of doing that. But I tell you what, I really think that he's got a pretty interesting product. It's just not another Me Too guide camera. There's, once again, it can definitely do polar alignment. It can do its own self calibration. It's a pretty interesting little topic, but we'll just kind of leave it open to him when he gets in.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. I don't want to steal his thunder when he comes on. So
yeah, I'd definitely be interested in testing it on the Moag. Because I'm rocking 2737 on that.
You'll be part 3 because by the time you get set up, it's going to be like January anyway. So
yeah, I definitely won't be doing anything with the scope until probably the first week in January. I'm going to need a couple of weeks to get the house set up. So
yeah, so maybe we'll plan on Heinrich maybe first week in February, somewhere around there, and then that will give us me, Eric, and yourself a chance to kind of play around with it.
Yeah, with it, for sure.
And
I can do it on both. I can do it on the Williams, the
it
Williams
on
61,
want,
and I can do it on the Moag and test it and see.
Yeah, do it. It'd be interesting to see because we got like a between the three of us, we have a large range of focal length here.
Yes, we do.
You know, I mean, literally, like I'm talking long. I mean,
Huge.
You know, my longest is 952, and then we go up to Scott's, which is 2700, and Eric's got everything in between.
Yeah, and I've got stuff in between. Exactly.
so it works out that way, so we can kind of step it up as we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
That's one of the great things about having this kind of collaboration where we can kind of do stuff like this. And
Yeah,
I think that's kind
and
of
try
fun.
the different. You know, you can try the different levels. You know,
Yeah.
with these different scopes. So no, it's pretty cool.
You know,
It's kind of funny is like it's a project that I've been working on is that I've had this and I thought, you know what, I've got a project that I want to work on. So what I've got is I've got a Canon EF 300 2.8 lens, and
That's
I've
what I
also
got.
got I got a 1.4 and a 2 teleconverter. So I thought, well, what I can do then is I can put my QHY 367. I've got the filter Jord, I got the adapters. And so I had this old RoboFocuser that I had that was just basically collecting dust for the last 3 or 4 years. And I thought, holy smoke, you know what I can do? I can go ahead and get like a little pulley from McMaster Carr. I'll put that around on the focusing ring of the camera. I'll run that to the motor that actually is where I actually had the RoboFocuser, and I'll run that down into my computer. So at the very back of this camera, I've got this all on a 24-inch Lost Bandy dovetail plate, and I've got a software Bisq Fusion. And so now I can stick this whole thing on there, and literally I can just be kind of computerless and just run this thing if I want to, just for doing wide field work. So it's kind of, as you say, it's kind of coming up with these little inventions and these little, hey, how can I make a better mousetrap? You know, you work on something, you think, hey, wait a minute, I can do this and I can make it a little bit better. And if I just change this around, but that's the fun part about this hobby, isn't it?
It is. Actually, I thought our Discord was blowing up, but it was my other Discord. It was my Dungeons and Dragons Discord that was blowing up. So. But let's see. Everyone's talking about guiding right now, so why don't we talk a little bit about guiding?
Sure. Let's talk about guiding.
Let's talk about guiding. I mean, like everyone's talking about. Well, I go, you know, Mark is the big gun over there. He's always talking. My guide scopes range between 400 and 500 millimeters, and I was like, yeah, well, you know what? I got 162 that I use.
There it is.
Yep. I use this. This is a 120 mini. The chip's the size of, I don't know, my 2-year-old nephew's pinky. And, you know, and I use this for, again, I use this for my 400 millimeter or less scope. Other than that, that's what this is for. After that, everything else that I've been using, I use the Evo Guide. I love it. I think the Evo Guide is a great scope for your, 1,000 range, not much more than that, maybe 1,200 max. If anyone wants to jump in on that, but that's where I would kind of go with that. Anything else, then I would start jumping up to what you have and Eric has, the 61s, the William Optics and stuff like that, and get up to that 450, 460. I'm sorry, 360, 400 range.
Yeah. Because like with the Rasa, I use the mini guide scope that you just showed, and I use that with the 290 mm.
Yep. Yeah. Get a little bit more guide stars, sure.
Yep. So I get some more guide stars, and that works out just great for me. And with my ASI Air, now you're able to, they were able to also have the feature where if you wanted to, and this works, I think, really good with OAGs, if you can now do bin 2 for your guiding, so you're able to see those fainter stars a bit better, depending on if, when you're using some of those OAGs and you have these long focal length scopes, and sometimes you're not able to really see clearly those guide stars, being able to do this bin 2 is really helpful.
Sure.
But with my Rasa, I don't have a problem, and it's such a wide field, with that 30 millimeter, I just do a bin 1 right there, and that's fine. And I tell you, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. I mean, I absolutely love Multistar. Multistar has got the best things that have come out for guiding in I don't know how long.
Well, You brought
Right.
up a real good point, Derek, because I get these calls all the time. They sit there and they say, "Well, I've got the ZWO, I've got that small little prism," and I'm trying to say, "Well, if you're going to go with OAG, you want to get the largest OAG that's got the largest pickoff prism."
Sure.
Yep.
And right now, the largest one is 12.5 millimeters by 12.5 millimeters, and that's either
Yep.
Celestron, Optec, Sagitta, because now you've got to get the right guide camera sensor to fill up all that real
All that
estate.
light. Yep.
174.
The
And you're right.
174.
People are struggling trying to find a guide star. And I go, well, that's the issue you've got right now is you've got the smallest pickup prism because you thought, well, I should have maybe gotten a little bit bigger. But,
Yeah.
it's like the lesson learned, buy once, cry once. You really just need to either go with people that can kind of give you the best advice or just do your own due diligence and do your own
Yep.
research.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's exactly what I remember. You, me, and Scott were going back and forth with Scott's guiding and his Orpex's guiding before he got the
Nightmare.
Moag, and
Yep.
we're sitting there looking. And I'm team viewing into his scope, and I'm
Yeah.
looking at it. And I was like, let me see what you're doing. Let me look at your guide scope. So I look at his guide scope and I see one star.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, where are your guide stars? What's going? Are you in focus? What are you what's going on? So he's like, yeah, I'm in focus. Look at the stars, pinpoint. I said, dude, help. I said, listen, I don't know what he had. I think you had the original ZWO.
I had the original ZWO
the
OAG.
small one. The
the
one that
8
came out
millimeter.
with the 12. The small one.
Yeah.
And so he's got the small one, and I'm like, I'm like, dude, move the scope around a little bit. And finally stars started coming in. I said, dude, you either got too small a chip or too small a prism. One or the other.
It was a prism. It wasn't the chip because I was using the 174.
Yeah, that's a huge chip for guiding. That's more than enough. But
Yeah. But it's
I mean,
funny how it's interesting, and even like Eric was saying is that I like to do 2x2 binning, and I mean everybody says, well, where do I really need to kind of consider binning? I mean, basically binning, when you're doing imaging, it's a kind of a toss up. It's kind of 6 of one and a half does the other. It's resolution and sensitivity.
Yep.
So based upon your scene conditions. So typically, if my scene conditions are between 2 and 3 arc seconds, I'll either do 1x1 or 2x2. If I'm between 3 and 4 arc seconds, I might say, okay, I might go up now to do 3x3 binning. If I'm now up to about 4 to 5 arc seconds of seeing, and I'm thinking, man, there's a lot of scintillation of that friggin' star. Do I really want to go to 4x4 binning or even 5x5 binning? I go, no, either just do visual or just stay home and drink brandy.
Yeah.
You know that's what I say. You know what? 9x9.
Yeah, that's it right there. That's the most. Yeah.
9x9. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah. And that'll take up to about 4 arc seconds right there. 4 to 5 arc seconds right there. See.
Well, I got to tell you, I've never binned. Even in my crappy seeing, I've never ever binned. I've never done it.
So you don't do binning even when you do mono? Because I've heard people do, okay, if I'm going to go ahead and do luminance, do 1x1 binning on luminance and do 2x2
I've
binning
heard
on
that.
1GB.
I've heard that, and I've never done it. For whatever reason, I've gotten good results.
Yep, well, that's good.
With what and you know what, it could be just that I'm using a 3 nanometer. I'm doing a lot of narrowband, so that probably has a lot to do with it.
Yep.
So now that I'm kind of embarking into RGB again, just even in my cruddy skies that I have, because even when you're shooting mono and you're using color filters, you're getting some inherent light pollution protection by going RGB and a mono camera. You're getting some, not a lot, but you're getting a little bit more than you would from a one-shot color camera. And so I got some good shots of M101 last year. I'm going to play around with again. I'm going to add some H alpha to it, but I got some decent results out of it. So even though I'm literally only shooting like 60-second, to maybe 120 if I'm lucky, on the RGBs. But on my narrow bands, I'm shooting either 600 or 1200. So.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, as I said, all this is just information that, and even like when we started talking about guiding, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are just getting into this and they just don't understand what the RMS is. They don't understand what should be my OSC. Is there like a window? And it is. I mean, when you start getting into guiding, I mean, it can really literally just kind of be a little bit complicated. And you know what it's like. It's just tough enough getting into this hobby.
Yeah.
Now you start having to learn more stuff. And then when you start talking about OAG, and people always ask me questions like, Pete, when should I consider OAG? And I always say, when you get up about 1,500 millimeters plus, that's when you really need to consider OAG. Up to that point, you can still go with a guide camera, guide scope combination.
Yep.
Yeah. I personally, when I had my longer focal length refractors, I did an OAG. I was using this little OAG.
Yep.
Because I did suffer from flexure.
Yeah.
Using that 50 millimeter William Optics. So to fight that, and it would just cause my guiding just to go haywire, right? So I decided, you know what? I've got this little thing. I may as well just try it. And honestly, I used this and all those problems went away for me, even at, the 927 millimeter.
Yep.
So I'm with you. When you get to that 1,500 millimeter, you definitely want an OAG, but I would say even maybe you might want to start thinking the closer you get to that 1,000 point, it may be something you might want to consider,
Yep.
But yeah, anything, but if you start to reach that, like to your point, Pete, 1,500, grab it. You need to. I don't think there's any way around it, or
I agree.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's something that we've actually spoken about that before, where that line might be.
Yes. Yeah. We have.
And we went back and forth for a while because there are some scopes out there that are about, like, some refractors out there that are in the middle, like the 1,200 range.
Mm-hmm.
And so that. So you're at the 1,200 range. I would say, hey, listen, you're on. You're
1,200 to
you wanna
1,500. Yep.
Yeah, because when you get, when you get that floral star,
Yep.
the 156 or the 132, and you're really climbing up there.
Yep.
You really want to start thinking.
It's time to get there. Yeah, absolutely. Get that off-axis guider and be done with it. Just again, to re-hit on what Pete and what we've all spoken about. Get the largest prism you could afford.
Yes, absolutely.
Get the largest prism you can afford, because you know what? I mean, in all fairness, the Celestron's what, $300, $350?
Yeah, something like that. It's relatively
you want to
expensive.
spend a little bit more money, you get the monster, the monster MOAG.
Yep.
You grab that.
And now ZWO, this
ZWO,
year or last year, they came out with the large.
Yep, the large.
Yep.
So they came out with the OAG large with 12 millimeter. So
and there's nothing wrong with that. Just as long as get that 12 millimeter, don't go with the 8s, because you got to sit there.
Yeah.
If you have
going into
even if you have an 8-inch Schmidt,
I would say
you're gonna be sitting there like, oh my God, you're gonna be pulling your
Trust
hairs
me.
out.
That's when I used this guy with my Edge 8.
Oh, you're probably losing your hair.
I was losing my.
Yeah.
I was going
Now imagine.
It was this, and it was the 290, the ASI 290 MS, and it was like and then I immediately that was like my first night after I got this guy, and I tried it, doing all this, and I was like, not again. No. At that first night, it was like, all right. I went back and I was hunting, because it was for a while. There was they had a shortage of OAGs, and I was just like, all right, well, I guess I'm not using this guy for a while.
Yeah,
I'm using the scope until I get this.
You did one of my Stellar Mate routines. You're like,
yep, like, it's done.
And the funny thing, I was going through the older archived Astroworld videos, and I'm wondering, why hasn't anyone, I know it's been out there for like 2 years. Why is it? And I forgot, I made the video private.
Oh.
And I did it for a reason, because you know what? The video was so anti-Stellar Mate that I didn't think
Yeah,
that it was smart to put it on.
yeah, I would agree with you. You made the right move.
Yeah, so I took it off and I made it private like almost a year and a half ago. So literally, and if you saw it, I mean, you probably got a good laugh out of it, but literally this Delamate went flying. I mean, I just got so mad at it, and I just threw it, and I was like, "You want to know what I would do with this?" And I threw it, and that was it. It was just that bad, but it's Hey, listen, well, I do know that there's some stuff going on. I think Sean Nielsen let the cat out of the bag, with the QHY coming out with their response to the ZWO ASIR Pro.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it looks like they're coming out with a little Raspberry Pi themselves.
It was only a matter of time.
Yep. So it looks
But
like
the real question is it going to be brand specific, or is it going to support other?
I bet you it is.
I bet it's going to be brand specific.
It's going to be the same exact thing. They want to build the brand loyalty, and they're going to do the same thing that ZWO did. They're going to do DSLR and their cameras.
Yeah, you see that right there would keep me away from it, because there's just some things that companies do better than others, and I there's just no way I could run with the big rig that I've got, the kind of setup that Eric has got. I needed that Eagle. There's just no way I could do it.
I mean, I gotta say though, I'm the same way. I have an Eagle. I have an Eagle 3 sitting over there, and if you're in that ZWO, and we talk about this a lot too on the show, literally like every week this comes up. If you're in that ZWO and you have everything, you got an EAF, you got 5, 6, 7 ZWO cameras, you got everything ZWO, you got the it is an awesome solution for $300. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, $300. You got polar aligning, you got plate solving, you got auto focusing, you got build. You got everything that the Eagle has.
You've got a catalog full of objects so you can choose from.
Yeah.
To your point, you've got guiding, you've got plate solving. If you wanted to, you can do planetary with this thing. You got video. You can do live stacking. You name it. It's just like, if you're in this family, if you have these products, for me, it just makes sense.
Here you go. Pete's got something.
Well, it's funny that we all look at these things, and you're right. We see the shortcomings. We think, okay, there's an opportunity here to fill a niche.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, let's use scope rings. And I've been saying this for like 3 or 4 years. Scope rings, right, are hinged, right? You got the top half and the bottom half.
Right.
Why can't they put 3 angles for the top half, right? And keep the bottom half round? Because all they've got now is they got the top half where you can put a dovetail plate. You got the bottom half where you can put a dovetail plate. But if they angle the top half into 3 areas to be able to put a dovetail plate, you can have multiple things.
Yes.
How come nobody's come up with a freaking idea like that?
William Optics
and
does.
Sharpstar too.
Huh?
Sharpstar also has holes on the sides.
Yes.
Well, exactly. But it's angled, right? It's not round.
It's angled.
It is
got
angled.
a right side, a left side, and a top flat.
Yes,
Now,
it's angled there. Yeah, so William Optics has that now too.
They have 3 M5 screw holes on each.
God, I can remember 4 years ago calling all the manufacturers saying, hey, look it, guys, make a ring set where the top half is angled, but make it 3 angles, 2 on the sides and 1 on top.
Yep.
But now, 4 years later, they finally have got it. But I can remember reaching out to Primal Luce. I talked to Parallax, talked to Joe at Parallax. Say, Joe, you got to look at this. You got to start looking at these because people want to put more stuff up on top. But he's never done anything. But now it's kind of interesting that William Optics is coming along, right? They've started to do it.
William Optics and Sharpstar have both done the same thing. But the thing, I don't know about William Optics. William Optics actually sells their rings separately with that.
You can.
You can buy them. With Sharpstar, you cannot. You have to buy it with the scope. They won't sell their rings without the scope.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
the
So,
Raptor 60, this Raptor 61 has those rings now as
Yep.
well.
yep.
Yeah.
There's another one that has it, but yeah, and it makes things. I tell you, it makes things so nice that that way you can actually add on another small dove and put on. I could put on my ASR right there.
Absolutely. A Pegasus power supply. You can go ahead and
Yep.
get brackets and put a Pegasus on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can put a guide scope, guide camera. You can do anything on the opposite side. I mean, it's
Yep.
incredible. You can put your eagle up on the top. I mean, it's just nice to be able to look at this. But this is where all of us look at this and say, how can we make something just a little bit better than what design is existing right now?
Exactly.
But you're right. But it's funny. It's just these things now are just starting to slowly come in right now. And I think in the next couple of years, you're right, we start looking at these cameras. I mean, believe me, I think there's going to be some interesting things coming out with camera sensors that are going to be absolutely incredible. Whether or not it gets into our hobby, I don't know. It'll probably be more for the medical and the scientific community, but it could trickle down into our hobby.
Sure.
Yeah.
I thought I had a question. Josh, is OpenGoTo or ASCOM open source?
ASCOM's open source.
Yeah, ASCOM's open source.
I don't know OpenGoTo.
Always been.
I don't know OpenGoTo. I know, ASCOM is definitely open source because everybody comes up with their own ASCOM drivers.
Yeah.
So, the ASI Air. Actually, who I just saw Gary.
Well, yeah, Gary. He is and I will give you that it is limited. It's not like a Sky Safari or anything like that, but it does give a lot of the common, especially for entry level imagers. It gives a lot of that, those entry level targets, of course, M42, a few others here, there, the Rosette, this here, and it does have some, and it is expanding. You've got the IC catalog, you've got the NGC, you've got, of course, the UNSCA, and there's a few others. But I also like, I like to also go off the beaten path and just hunt around, and I'm not always necessarily using that catalog. I'm actually just plugging in RA and declination, because there's certain obscure objects that you really can't, that it doesn't have. And I just, I'm using Telescopius and everything, and it gives me that RA and deck, and I just plug the thing in right there, and then I just do my go-to.
Yeah. So OpenGoTo is what Explore Scientific uses, the system that they use for their PMCs and their mounts. Let's see. I don't see it being. Yeah, it looks like it's open source because they have the source code listed. So that's something that again, I don't have any PMC mounts or Explore mounts, to be honest with you. So I don't have much information on that. So
the one thing that I did, when I was shooting messages over to William Yang, I asked him, would you please consider a native one, a native just 1.1 flat, a flattener.
Okay.
So,
A non-reducing flat.
Oh, what? You don't like the way you
it's a non-reducing flattener.
Dude, you got to go to Telescope Optics, man.
Oh, I know, but it will be because William, he designs these, he designs these adjustable flatteners.
Sure, the 0.8s and the 0.7s, yeah.
Yeah, and they're great, especially when you're using them with his, with his scopes. They're fantastic.
Yep.
But it just frustrates me so much. It's like, William, I want to use the native focal length, man. I don't want to go down. Yeah. I want to keep it the same.
Yeah, and that's why actually Simon Lewis pointed me to the Telescope Optic 2.5 inch 1.0 flattener, adjustable. And after $200 for precise parts and you're spending $600 on a flattener. So I mean, that being said, but let me tell you something. The results that I've been getting from this flattener, the optics in the flattener are really, really nice. So you spend, I think it was 306 euros, turned out to 360 something with shipping.
Okay.
With shipping included. And then the proper adapters, obviously you're gonna have to get that from
Right.
Precise Parts. But I'm telling you, I've had 2 of them now, and I love them. I got to thank Simon Lewis from New Zealand, another one of our guys at Astroworld that pointed me to that, because I was looking for exactly what you're saying. Listen, I just got rid of another scope to get this one.
Yeah.
And what, now you're telling me it's going to be the same focal length of the scope that I just got rid of? I don't want to do that. So yeah, I did the same thing. I searched on and on and on, and Simon gave me the link to that. And I actually sent the link out a couple of times on the show. A lot of people have been asking about the 1.0 non-reducing flattener from Telescope Optics. So check it out. And Telescope Optics in Germany now does FedEx, which is nice.
That's good.
So it's not all DHL. So they didn't do that for a while. So it was like DHL was like $60 to ship to Germany or from Germany. Now it's like $28. It's like half the price.
Okay.
For that same item. I'm not saying it's gonna be $60 for a mount, but it's a flattener.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because like I said, eventually I am gonna get this, and so I'm tossing and turning between that GT81 because I had the 71.
Yep.
Now I'm looking at either the 81, the Gran Turismo 81, or that FLT 91, and I think I'm leaning towards the 91.
Yeah, get the 91.
I think I'm leaning, or maybe I'll just wait because I've heard on the grapevine. Now this isn't confirmed, but I've heard it down the grapevine from that William Optics is probably going to do a Cat Series 91.
Okay, that wouldn't surprise me.
And
a Petzval 91, that'd be nice.
Yeah, if they do a Cat 91, then fine. And then I have to worry about, a flattener because it's going to be flat already, being a Petzval.
Yeah, but well, just think about
this.
Oh,
God, no. I will not get the 180 or the 150.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of that thing. Good Lord. No.
Poor Willie looks like he's going to fall over.
I swear. I've had hernia repair, okay?
I know you have.
It wasn't fun. I'm not going that route.
Eric, the Tech 200 is out of the question then, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, thank you. This is why I got another edge. Why I got the edge. Why I got the Schmidt. So I can have this is perfect. I might go an 11 at some point. But right now, this 8 is perfect for me.
Yeah, just keep in mind also, and I'm not trying to say anything about Red Cat because I think the Red Cat, the 51 was an outstanding scope.
It is.
71 is turning out to be. I'm starting to see some more images come through, and it's starting to look very, very good for the 71. Yeah. The 91, it's just a matter of time. You got things come in threes.
Yes.
So I'm just expecting that to come out. Or, something. I expected the third one to come out. I didn't know it was going to be 91. I expected the third one to come out.
Right.
But that's not surprising to me. What is surprising to me, though, is, yes, it's a Petzval. Yes, you don't need the flattener. But the price point for a 71 at $1,700.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little high to me.
It's a little high.
It is high. And just think about the 91. If the
91 is $2,000.
If the 51 is $800.
Yep.
The 71 is $1,700. That means a 91 is going to be like $2,699, $2,900. It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be
$3,000 for a scope. And, I mean, I don't know. That's just
and for me,
just the cheapness in me coming out.
Not only that, having the helical focuser, which is awesome, but then you're going to have to get those extra accessories if you want to use, like, say, EAF.
Yep.
Or anything, So yeah, and that's why I was like, yeah.
I mean, listen, William Optics has some of the best optics I've seen. He really comes out with good stuff.
He does.
He really comes out with good stuff. So is it worth the money? Yeah, if you have it. I don't.
So got it? Yes.
So
Yeah, and I tell you, I'd love to have an opportunity if he goes, if I can to get to Neef in 22.
Oh, you looking to come?
I think I'm gonna try to get there,
Oh,
man.
dude, you gotta come.
I'm gonna
You gotta
try.
come, man. It's
I'm
gonna be
gonna
great.
try because heck, tickets go on sale next month.
Oh, I'll be there working at Cameron Comics.
I know you will, but
I'll
you'll
be
be like
there.
Crazy Eddie.
I'll be there. You know what? If you're lucky, you'll see me twice because I'll be on the net and in the store at the same time. So,
We'll be inundated with Dan, like,
what do you want? You want an eagle? The eagle has landed. Come get it now. 1995. You can't beat it.
yeah. We're dropping these crazy prices. It's insane.
People got mad at me last year.
Why?
They got mad at me last year because the first year that I did it, I was very kind of like, oh yeah, come on. I was very the Crazy Eddie routine. I was doing that was my shtick. That's what it was. And I laid the New York accent thick, and I laid it kind of, so I laid it down. So I said, okay, no problem. But the second year I did it, I kind of was subdued a little bit. And you know, I was kind of like, oh yeah, and I went down the specs, and I kind of did, you know, just kind of like a laid back kind of thing, and you know, Astroworld was just starting off, so I didn't know who was watching and all that kind of. So I was like, now I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna be Crazy Eddie again. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it because I like doing it that way. I'm gonna get Pepper again. I'm gonna get the dogs involved. You know, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and maybe I'll throw in a little Pennywise too. So.
Oh, jeez.
God, I'm looking at Gary has a 200 millimeter refractor. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine. Oh man. I
1,000 for precise parts and diameters, and 3,000 for the flattener.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh my good. 200 millimeter.
Yeah, that's
Dude.
it. That's my gosh.
Bigger than my dinner plate.
You need a lift crane just to get that onto the saddle of the mount.
You need 3 boys, man. You need 3 sons.
Dude,
that's why you have kids.
And a flatbed and an observatory. I mean,
this
thing is like ridiculous.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a permanent install.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It looks like Pepper's got some fans. Christopher said, "Bring back," said Pepper ! But everyone likes Pepper because Pepper's just like a mean bastard. He's just mean. He's a little 3.5 pound chihuahua, and he just wants to get out of the screen. He doesn't want to be in there. It's a lot of fun. But let's see. Do I have any cool questions? I know we were talking about throwing some questions up.
Yes.
Here's got the Tech 200. That's the one we're talking about.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the monster.
Yep.
The monster.
Oh, monster, man.
Let's see if I can go it up. Okay, so I got. So I'll give you the titles, and you guys can pick the question. Okay, how about that?
Okay.
First one is called Gray Photos.
Gray.
Gray, as in the color gray.
Okay.
Next one is Focusing. What mount to buy?
Oh Lord.
Oh, we've played that. We've gone on that merry-go-round too many times.
Red Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Photometric color calibration, and workflow. Those are the questions that I have tonight.
I'm intrigued with the gray. What's up with the gray? Is it Gray Photos?
Gray Photos. What do you think? What do you want to do?
So what's the question? We have to figure out what the answer is with the questions.
No. Pick the title, and I'll give you the question.
Oh, okay. Well, Gray Photos, right? It's got to be what Hybrid Alpha. So it's narrowband. At least that's what I'm thinking.
Is it though? All right, so we'll do Gray Photos. Let's see. How do I do this now? I got to share screen. Here we go. Share screen. And screen 2. And here we go. Question number 1. Loading. Just a quick question. Let me get this out of you. I'm using image integration and star alignment to stack images in PixInsight. Why do my images always come out as gray? I tried converting it to RGB, but nothing changes. Any help?
Star alignment.
Somebody, I think, has got the right answer.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, for one, what type of camera are we talking about here?
Well, I would think it's a one-shot color.
Okay.
Let's just
So
go with
yeah,
it. It's a
so your
one-shot color
your
camera.
Bear matrix correct?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, if he's using a ZWO, it's RGGB. So
Yep, it's RGGB.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here because I just like doing that. But all right, even if he does, okay. So here's my thing. Why are we using image integration and star alignment? He's missing. He's missing something.
debayering.
He's missing debayer. Whether he has the debayer.
Why not? Why aren't you using just WBPP?
Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you.
There you
Why
go.
aren't you using it?
So
WBPP
does it.
is like that's like one of the best things for PI.
Yeah.
Sliced bread came out.
Yeah, so WBPP, if you have it set up right, will do the debayering process for you. If you do not use WBPP and you're using the image integration and star alignment manually, which some people do,
Mm-hmm.
you still, if you're doing a one-shot color data, you still have to run the debayer process.
Yes.
If you don't run the debayer process, you'll still be gray, and no matter what you do,
Yeah.
it will still be gray.
Yeah, you got to have that check that box checked in WBPP for one shot color. So
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I would do.
the other thing, I mean, is he running the latest update that includes WBPP? Is he running an old version of PI?
I certainly hope at this point, I'm hoping he's running 2.0, but it is a possibility that he's running batch pre-processing, which is the older, older running of it. But even that, I think debayers. It's been a while since I've used it, to be honest with you, but I think it does debayer. But WBPP, if you just check the CFA, the color filter array, and make sure that the color filter array is checked not only for your lights, but also for your flats. Don't forget your flats, because if not, you're gonna have this nice big mess of a picture when you're done. And so that's one thing. Let me move this. This is starting to bug me. This Astroworld logo is bugging me a little bit. I haven't figured out how to kind of.
Yeah, just stick it right there. That's fine.
And if you're not signed up with the guys, Warren and Ron and Cruel and if you're not signed up with their classes, definitely that would be one of the things I would be doing.
$35 per class is nothing for what we're doing.
And don't forget there are plenty of other reasons. I know we talk about Masters of PixInsight quite a bit because they do things every week. But don't forget Sean Nielsen. Don't forget Adam Block. Don't forget all these guys out there that are putting themselves out there.
Yes.
To help navigate the bumps in the road that we all come against as astrophotographers and processing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Sean's got a great one. He's at $25. You get his 3-hour breakdown on how to run your PI.
How to start.
It's fabulous.
So I mean, that was really good. Actually, no matter what, whenever anybody comes out with stuff, I buy it. I don't care who it is.
Support them.
I buy it. It's not only for the support because that's the main reason why I do it, but I always pick up something I forgot.
Yeah.
I've forgotten way more stuff than I know. Trust me. So just.
What was my name again?
Yeah, well, I'm telling you. I feel bad for Tom Bramwell, who's it's been on Facebook, so it's general knowledge that he's recovering from his third booster shot. and
Kicking his butt.
and yeah, it's kicking his butt. So I'm texting him left and right today. I'm like, hey, what about this? What about that? What about this? I said, oh yeah, by the way, I forgot you're sick. Don't worry, I'll leave you alone. As I get old, my brain gets a little mushy. So I left him alone. So because I've been asking about the Goal Zero and in the field powering of the Eagle, because the Eagle is very touchy as far as power is concerned.
Goal Zero is wonderful. It is clean. It is predictable. I have never had a problem with my 1000.
Yeah.
You know, it is a phenomenal. Now, granted, the downside to Goal Zero is it's expensive. their batteries, but their batteries are phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm gonna pull the trigger on the either the. I'm probably just gonna get the 500 because I don't need, you know, I don't.
And I've
need
got the
anything
great
crazy.
big briefcase, you know, solar array that I can set up, you know, for big star parties and stuff. That thing, you can literally set that array up, plug it in, use the Goal Zero while it's hooked up to the solar array, and
Yep.
use it the whole time. So it's constantly trickle charging.
Yep.
It's phenomenal. And the
Yeah.
solar arrays really aren't that bad. The big briefcase, the boulders, the 200s, I think they're like $500
Yeah,
for the great big ones. And you can gang those up. You can daisy them.
I got one. It's not a Goal Zero one because I was doing this before, but I got the Jackery.
Yeah.
Even though, okay, so I'm more in support of the Goal Zero because they're just better made, but that's a 60, and and this, you know, I was looking to get Jackery, and then so if anyone wants to buy a Jackery solar panel,
Yeah.
there you go, unused, brand new, nice, in my closet. Oh, death, right here. There you go. But it looks like I'm going towards the Yeti for, you know, because we are coming close to. Spring's coming. It's going to be here before you know it, and we're all going to be going to star parties again. We're all going to be doing everything. You know, yeah, we'll probably be at, you know, COVID Zeta by that time. But you know, that's the whole thing is that we're all going out. We're all doing what we need to do, and we're all living our lives. So I'm hoping that we have the canceled star party, the first unofficial, uncensored, unsanctioned star party for Astroworld.
Way to commit, soldier.
There you go. And I hope we have that probably in May. And then in June is no good for you, Eric?
Not yet. There's a lot of things happening now.
We could change
Weddings.
change things.
There's weddings that are happening.
Okay, again, we can change things, so that's not a problem. You know, I want to.
That's a cool thing. If everybody, if we can have a bit of flexibility, and we can always talk about this.
Yeah, that we can talk about offline.
Yeah, we can always talk about offline.
But you know, but Cherry Springs Star Party's coming up in June.
Yep.
The Staunton River in Virginia is coming up. Okie, Texas happening. You know, NEAF is going to be going on in April. I mean, the country's open. Country's going again. We're done.
Yeah.
For better or worse, we're open again. But you know, that's what's going on. So I'm hoping that we can kind of do this, and you know, Scott's gonna have to trek back up to Pennsylvania again. Scott could go a little east, I could go a little west, and maybe Pete can fly in. so I think it would be kind of cool to do that. I know we have a lot of other people that kind of come around online. You know, Eddie lives in Pittsburgh, and you know, a couple other guys out in the Northeast. We're looking. We had about 13 people going until we canceled it because of the weather. And so that, you know, hopefully by the spring, maybe we have 20. And again, you know, that'd be nice. It'd be a nice little get together, you know.
Well, I know for a fact that there are 2 relatively large astronomy clubs that are within, I think, 35 or 40 miles of where I'm moving to. And that's not even including the ones that are, you know, over, you know, down by Key West. You know, so that's one of the things that I'm planning on doing is tying into at least those 2 astronomy clubs. And I think one of them, if I read it correctly, they are big into youth astronomy. So young people, a lot of young people,
Good.
and I think that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, to get the young people into it. You know, that's something they can carry straight through into their adult and family life. You know, I'm over the moon for that. So when we do lock into that, I'm going to turn them all onto Astroworld, and you know, and get more people involved with stuff down there. So
Yeah, it looks like everybody's talking about Goal Zero over Jackery, and I gotta tell you, I from the reviews that I've read and the new Goal Zero X series that has come out
phenomenal.
just recently. With the older Goal Zeros, that it came. Scott, correct me if I'm wrong. We were talking about this offline.
Mhm.
It came with the stabilizer,
Mhm.
so you can make sure that the output just
Yep.
stays at the same
Yeah.
same
It's a regulator.
rate. Yeah, it's a
Yep.
regulator. Now the X series now has that regulator built in
Built into it. Yep.
to the battery, so no extra paraphernalia is necessary. But you just sit there and you can just jack in, not
Yep.
jackery, but plug in,
Yep. Yep.
and do that. So I think that's going to be my next. That's a fairly big purchase. I mean, it's like
Oh, they're not
for the
cheap at all.
500, it's like $700 for the
Yeah.
for the
Oh yeah.
1000. I think it's $13.99.
Yep.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
so they're expensive. But let me tell you something. The 2000, the 5000,
Oh, they're
power your
awesome.
house.
Yeah, they're awesome.
You
And
know?
not only that, Goal
Couple
Zero
of years.
actually has a program where they will do, you know, you can get them to run a solar array on your roof, and then you can literally have your big units. They've got the 3000 and the 6000 now, that you can literally bring that in, set it down on a bank of other batteries, and it will tie daisy into those other batteries and tie directly into your house, and it'll power your whole house. It's insane. They
Yeah,
are really
but
coming a long way.
But the 5000 is also about
Oh, it's crazy
10,000.
expensive.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's quite expensive, but it's
Oh,
no
yeah.
more expensive than getting solar panels on your house. But it's definitely going to be cool. So again, I'm just looking for something that'll power the telescope for a couple of days while I'm away.
Yeah.
And that's it.
A lot of people miss it with solar. They don't understand that just putting solar panels on your roof isn't going to do it. You need to have a bank of batteries in your house that can charge, because that's what the house pulls from. It doesn't pull from the solar panels.
Right.
The solar panels charge the batteries.
Oh, the batteries. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's usually sitting on the side of your house somewhere.
Yeah.
But I got, what, that's something that's been coming up a lot, and Gary's been talking about it. Mark Ellis has been talking about it. I know little about it. I've been
Same
playing
with
with
me.
it, but this Green Swamp server, which is kind of like the new EQ mod, it's kind of like a pointing software and Meridian Flip and does everything. It's supposed to be really, really good. And if anybody ever wants to come on and school us on Green Swamp server, that'd be great, because that's been getting more and more notoriety, I guess. A lot of people are starting to use it.
Yeah.
It's a lot more functional from what I hear. It does a lot of stuff, so I think it's really good. Take a minute or two. Everyone's talking about this Green GSS.
And
So,
Gary was also just talking about Cyril.
Cyril, yep, So that's another thing which I haven't used, but I mean,
Yeah, I haven't used it myself, so it'll be something that I would have to spend time, grabbing some more data here and running it through Cyril, and just to play around with it and see how it compares with APP and PI.
yeah. I mean, let's see. So Cyril,
So GSS is acquisition.
well, it's more of a telescope interface. It's a mount interface. So EQ mod is like a mount interface. So
Okay.
it's like the connection between your mount to
Right.
whatever acquisition software you're using, whether that be a sequence generator or Nina or
Nina.
whatever. It's basically that. So, and it's only good for certain scopes and certain mounts, from what I know. I'm not sure exactly what the compatibility is for. But that's something that I'm sure that somebody will answer me really quick. Yeah, Cyril, I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, I was actually looking at it myself.
And I'm looking to see if it costs anything.
No, I think it's open source.
It looks to me that it's open.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Calibration, stacking, enhancement, but it looks like kind of like yeah. That's something that's something that we can kind of look into.
Hey, one thing. Hey, Scott, one thing I was thinking about with you moving to Florida.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if since you're at such a much lower, latitude, you're going to be around 28, 27 degrees.
Yep.
I'm wondering if would you possibly be able to get, like, say, Alpha Centauri?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he'll be able to get
absolutely.
it.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
We'll get Omega Centauri as well.
Yep.
That would be a really fun galaxy for you to grab.
Yeah.
Hey, there's also, what about, since you're already talking about EMOD and everything else, has anybody really looked at ASTAP for doing post-processing? ASTAP is definitely used as a plate solving, but it also has stacking and aligning capabilities. And I've been using it here recently over the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
And it's pretty robust.
Okay.
So take a look at it. ASTAP.
Yeah, no, I know ASTAP. I have it.
How is it for, like, you're a beginner? How's its ease of use, just getting into it?
Well, they've got a couple of videos. What's happened is the gentleman that's actually writing the coding on it, basically every week he comes up with a new updated version for the plate solving.
Okay.
But at the same time, he's got a couple of videos that actually talks about using it for calibration, stacking, and aligning. And it's really, really a pretty interesting program. Once again, it's a freebie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd recommend it's worth definitely taking a look at, because, as I said, there is definitely the initial learning curve. And it's like everything we do, Eric.
Yeah.
There's always the initial learning curve. And that's why people ask me, Pete, what about this? What about this? What about this? And I say, well, I'll be honest with you. I kind of stay with about 2 or 3 programs that I know, because it's just so much involved to learn everything. Yep. And like people ask me about EQ mod. I tell you what, I don't know anything about EQ mod. It's just, but
it's the only thing I've used.
It's funny.
It's the only thing. You know what? I've always had Cinta mounts. Always had Cinta mounts, and I needed something. And I was back. I'm back in the day of shoestring astronomy, USB cables and all that. You had to buy them, and so you got to remember that EQ mod's been around quite a long time.
Yeah.
And they came out with other stuff, some periodic error stuff, some other programs that you could get in, you could use in conjunction with EQ mod. But again, it's only for Cinta mounts. And then Eric just said, I'm sorry, not Eric. Mark just said the GSS or Green Swamp server is the same thing. It's only for Cinta mounts.
Yeah.
So it's a telescope interface for Cinta mounts only. But I've heard it's more, the graphical user interface is nicer, and the way. So it's something I'm going to have to play with.
That brings up another topic that we could use down the road, is to sit there and talk about, okay, we talk about ASCOM, and basically ASCOM's been around for such a long time. But what about Alpaca? What about Indigo?
Alpaca?
There's
Yeah,
all these different types of platforms now that are coming up. And, it's interesting is that really it'd be interesting to talk about this, because I'm sure a lot of people would have a lot of questions regarding all these different platforms.
Alpaca is going to open it up for the Mac user.
Yeah. Yep.
I remember that. I remember them talking about, Alpaca, with the Celestron guys, and the guy that developed, he developed ASCOM, and that app. There was a great video that they did on that, and that Alpaca is really gonna. That could potentially be a game changer, because it opens the door for any platform you want.
Yeah. Yep.
Exactly.
It's gonna be nice.
What about Indigo? Is it Indigo? Indigo is the next one? Is that
Indigo? Yep.
So,
Indy. Yep.
Yeah, Indy. So, there's all these different platforms now besides just ASCOM. And so, like the older generation of the guys that have been in this hobby for a long time, they're definitely Ascon guys because that's all they know. And you're right. I mean, now it's kind of like the younger generation is getting into the indie and the alpaca. So it's going to be interesting that really we should maybe table that for a conversation, for discussion, so people can kind of get an idea about what are all these different platforms, what are the features / benefits of each of these programs.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of the younger people, you know, they're gonna want to be able to do everything from a cell phone.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know that's like, how the hell is that gonna work? But I'm telling you, that's what they're gonna.
on a cell phone.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, or a cell phone, or at the very least,
An
you know,
iPad.
an iPad.
Yeah. An
Yeah.
iPad or an iPad Pro, something that has
Yep.
you know, something decent where you can actually zoom in and look at things.
Yeah.
You know, doing you know, looking at the eccentricity of the stars by going.
Isn't that what we wanted to do? And is that why we got into hobby, is to at least be able to have a little bit of ability to say, hey, I need a challenge here. I don't want everything automatically done for me.
That is true.
Kind of
That is
manual.
very true. Because AP is one of the most difficult hobbies
Oh,
you could take up, you
Yeah.
know.
yeah. But I mean, to sit there and just basically just plug and play and just sit back there and go, okay, I guess to some people that would be kind of good. But for me, I kind of like the challenge where I've got to say,
I like the tinkering.
I like
yeah, you're
tinkering.
a little tinker.
I
Yeah.
like- exactly. I like tinkering.
Me too.
You
I gotta
know?
agree with you.
Yeah. And quite frankly, with everything that is involved in astrophotography, you know, and such, the automation, I mean, it's great, but man, I'll tell you, there's still a lot of setup that is involved in getting that automation to work right. You know, there's so many factors, there's so many things that you've got to do right. You've got to set it up correctly, and eventually things go haywire anyway. You know, you can have it perfect, and then, you know, you get out there and things go haywire.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then you throw into the mix, you know, the weather and the changes and clouds and this and that, and you know, and people being idiots and throwing lights in your. I mean, there's so much that can go wrong with what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, that you better like tinkering, and you better like learning, and you better like dealing with frustration, because it's going to be a regular thing.
Here he goes.
That's so true.
Or you better like drinking.
Oh yeah.
You know, but you know, yeah,
But
Scott,
no,
you're-
but he
you're
was
right.
on point. You know, the challenge. You know, that's the challenge of the hobby. I agree, but
Yeah.
that's what makes it. You know, doing this. You know, if everybody can do it, you know, then I probably wouldn't be into it. If everybody could do it, if it
No,
was
I
so
agree.
super easy that
Right.
you know anybody could just pick up, you know, a smartphone, you know, or a tablet and just do this stuff, then yeah.
Right.
But I wouldn't be into it as much, you know, but I like to think, I like to keep my brain
Yep.
working. You know,
Yeah.
the older I get, I got to keep this thing working.
I remember a couple of years ago listening to Trevor Jones talk about it, you know, when he was only into it for, you know, a few years at that point. And he was talking about how, you know, I could jack into a scope in Chile, and I could get all this data, and I could sit there on my couch and you know, and acquire everything. And he says, you know, and that would be better. And he's like, yeah, right. It would be better. You know, I'm going out to my backyard.
Yep.
I'm going to do it this way. And, you know, and
Yeah.
of course we know where he went with that, but I agree with Trevor. I think that getting out into the cold, cold, that's subjective, but you know, getting outside, you know, and you know, and looking up and pointing a telescope up there and trying to figure this thing out and trying to capture stuff that is so far away that, you know, you need these huge rigs to even see it.
Yep.
You know, that is the excitement of that and the challenge of that. That's why I got into this, because I was looking for a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
you got it.
this,
But
being
being married,
you
being
know,
married isn't a challenge enough.
yeah.
Oh, that's
the
definitely a
the
challenge
barriers
enough.
are terrible, you know, for entry is terrible, you know, and it's keeping good minds out. But some, you know, but it's the, you know, it's for me, it's the persistence of just keeping it going, and then and then, you know, to persevere
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
that,
The
you know,
frustration.
over that frustration. Say, I got it, you know,
Mhm.
or I figured it out, or that's what's so much fun. And even talking to other people and saying, all right, the whole thing when I first started out was Amp Glow. I did not understand what that was. You know, I had no idea. I thought my camera was broken,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know? So and then, you know, to have an understanding, and then that was what led me to even understand how important calibration frames were,
Yeah.
you know, because of that. And then moving into, okay, I've got that piece, and then SGP and learning about, you know, the whole sequencing and acquisition and plate solving and understanding all of these, and having to go out because plate solving wasn't built in. You had to actually go out and get like Plate Solver 2 or whatever to install into SGP,
Yep.
you know, and all this other sort of stuff. It was just like, you know, one thing after you start building, and you start building that moment, and then you hit a brick wall. You're like, all right, let's go back. Let's just reassess and step back a little bit. I don't know how many times I just stopped and had to just walk away for like a half hour,
Yeah.
you know, because I was just so frustrated, and then come back with, you know, a fresh, you know, just being a little bit more refreshed, and then, all right, let me figure this out. Let's go for it.
Eric, you're only dealing with one setup.
Yeah.
You got to sit there. Dan, you might know. You get
I
questions
do.
where I want to be able to put 2 or 3 of these things together. I want to go ahead and I want to put a Riccardi reducer onto whatever. And then now you got to think, oh my God, okay, let's see here. We got to do this.
Yep.
It really is a complicated hobby.
Then-
But you're right. If you really
Where's my
want
damn caliper? Where is it? What's
this
going
is
on?
the best challenge that you can get yourself into.
Yes.
I'm telling you. And then I call up Pete. I say, Pete, can you just check the math on me on this? Because I don't know what I'm doing. You know,
You know?
I'm telling you, you know, it is because, you know what, when you're dealing with different, to your point, Pete, when you're dealing with different pieces from different developers, that's where the tinkering really comes in. So if you have, like, I have my S-Big camera, I had a telescope optics flattener, I had a William Optics manual rotator, I had, you know, I had my Cinta mount with my Esprit 80 and whatever else. That was one setup, and the other one I had,
Frankenscope.
you know, my 127 with my Asato and another William Optics rotator and all these different things coming. Now, how do you put this stuff together?
It's
everything's a
alive.
different thread size. Everything is just,
Oh, thread size, thread pitches.
yeah.
I mean, all that's got to come in. Is it metric?
Is it metric?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, dovetail plates, William Optics, metric. You got to have metric screws. So
Yeah,
all these
M4,
little things
M5,
that you just
M6.
have to.
Yeah, not everybody's got a machine shop in their basement where they can modify.
Exactly. And Josh is saying, you know, Josh makes a point. He's like, he completely agrees. He loves, you know, it's so great to make those breakthroughs, but imagine the people who could be but aren't because of those same barriers. Yeah,
That's where collectively.
that's
groups
when
like this was
we all help. That's when,
That's exactly
you know,
right.
that's why I love this hobby.
Yes.
It's because if you're hitting that roadblock, we have some of the best and coolest people that I guarantee you
We can find the
somebody
answer.
has already dealt with this.
Mhm.
And then you just collect, and this is when you have to get to a point where, you know, and it may not seem it, you know, because of right now, but, you know, I can be quite introverted, right?
What?
But yeah,
Huh?
yeah, exactly. But
Wow.
you know, and then but this brought it, you know, but I got, you know, this, and it helped bring more of me out, you know, of my personality and whatever. But it's also, you know, if you're introverted, I get it, and you may not be really comfortable asking questions. But trust me, you know, I really honestly believe with this type of community, there's no such thing as a dumb question.
Yeah.
There really, really isn't, because we've all been through it. We've all had to start
I'm
somewhere.
gonna tap onto that. I'm gonna switch that on you.
Okay, well, maybe there are some.
I'm gonna say there's only one dumb question.
Yeah, when you don't ask.
Exactly.
Well, that's true.
It's a question that's never asked.
Ask.
So don't be, to your point, Eric.
Yep.
Don't think if you ask us, we're not going to tell you you're stupid. We're not going to break you down. We're not going to do anything because we've been there. We know what's
I'm
going
still
on.
going there.
Yeah, we're all
Yeah.
still learning. You know, for every mistake, we must surely be learning. While my guitar
Oh,
gently
yeah.
weeps. So the whole thing is so important that if you don't know what to do, or if you know somebody that doesn't know what to do, tell them to come hang out on a Wednesday or Friday night and ask the question. You know,
Yeah.
or if you don't want to do that, go to
Send
your
an email.
local astronomy club.
Well,
Go to your
Dan,
local what
Dan, you've got a couple more questions, right? That have come up. Remember, that was the first question. Was the
that
question
was
about
only
why
one question. I got
images
like
great?
6.
Right.
Say,
You know, we could.
if there is questions there, we should definitely be able to kind of all chip in and assist. If there's any
Yeah.
other questions?
Well, I mean, we do have other questions that I
Go
pulled
for
off of.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming up on what, 2 hours already. So
Yeah.
okay, fine. So here are the other categories. Focusing.
Yeah,
What
okay.
what mount to buy?
Now
Red
focusing.
Let's go with focusing right now.
Focusing.
Let's go with focusing.
Focusing. Okay, let me bring this on over. Hold on a second. Let me bring this on over. I got people.
What mount to buy is completely subjective.
Well,
Well, we can talk about it, but let's do focusing.
Yeah,
right
focusing
now. Because we talk about the mount
all the time.
So let's go with something a little different here.
all right, here we go. Sharing the screen. Here we go for the question. Question number 2. Loading. There you go.
There you go.
Hey guys, astrophotography noob waiting for equipment to arrive before getting into this awesome hobby. I've been watching a lot of tutorials and guides, and I had a quick question. Once I get my mount polar aligned, do I turn it on immediately and then start focusing my camera, or do I do the focusing first before turning the mount on? Just wondering what the best practice is.
Okay. For one, turn the mount on, just turn the mount on. It's not, just go ahead and turn your mount on.
Turn it on.
Depending on what kind of mount you get, just go ahead and turn it on. But it also, if you're doing, it depends on what you're using for polar alignment. But yes, you have to be in focus. I would say get things in focus first, right? Then do your polar alignment, because if you're doing polar alignment, and depending on what you're using, you've got to be able to see this, whatever program you're using has got to see the stars clearly.
Mhm.
So if you're using SharpCap, now if you're using a
Pole Master.
a Pole Master, then you're fine.
There's no focus there.
There's no focusing. But if you're using, like, say, a SharpCap or anything like that, or like an ASI Air, you have to have things in focus first before you can do everything. Before you can do that stuff.
And as a focusing aid, if you're just starting out, I would suggest probably a batten-off mask would definitely be the first thing to do. And then once you start to develop that, a lot of these programs will have what they call full width half maximums, or FWHM.
Yep.
The lower those values, the tighter that focus will be. But definitely, I would recommend starting out with a batten-off mask. That will definitely help you out.
Now, here's a question I have coming off of this as well. What are your guys' opinion as far as the type of star and the magnitude which you would go after to do your focusing? Would you go after something like, say, a Sirius or a Vega or anything, or would you try to find like a medium-sized star, a mid-sized, magnitude star instead of those brighter stars? Because I've heard different things that some people they go after, the medium-sized stars to start off with their batten-off mask and do their focusing, versus some of the more common stars like Arcturus and Vega and Sirius, those larger stars. So what do you guys usually do when you're targeting, say, a star so you can begin that focusing process?
Are you talking about with like a batten-off mask?
Yeah, with a batten-off mask, or something with something like that.
Well, the thing with the batten-off mask, first of all, is that when you put that batten-off on the front of your scope, you're gonna dramatically decrease the amount of light coming into your scope.
Yes.
So you want to have a bright star.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't have to be super bright. It doesn't have to be Almatac, okay? But but you don't, you want to be able to see the star. So it's going to reduce the amount of light coming in. A lot of people don't realize that, but you're dramatically reducing how much light is coming into your OTA.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay.
Again, also it all depends on what you're focusing with. Now, if we're talking just for polar alignment. Now, we're just not talking main scope. We're talking maybe guide scope at this time.
Yep.
If let's talk about FWHM, and if you're not using a Bahtinov mask, let's talk about that for a second, because if you got a crappy coating of, just some really bad guide scope that you picked off secondhand that you're using, and you got crappy coating, that FWHM may be bloated because now you got bloated stars.
Right.
And Dan, in that question with guide focusing, you don't want to have accurate focusing. You want to be slightly out of focus because you're focusing on the centroid, because that's where the energy of the star is. Because that's going to be where the peak comes up. It's going to be at the peak where you're going to be looking at either the half flux diameter or the full width half maximum. So definitely with guiding, you want to be just slightly out of focus and make sure that you're looking at the centroid of that star.
Yep,
especially when you get into autofocusing.
Yep. But I mean, and then to your point, Eric, just get everything in focus first, and then let it run. Again, Polemaster and some others, got polar alignment cameras out there do not have a focus, like the Eclipse and a couple other ones, the Polemaster. Those things you don't have to focus because they do it all on their own. But for the most part, get everything in focus and then just move on, because if you start your imaging run not in focus, you're not going to be happy.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if you don't have a guide scope right away, I mean, don't try to go on a cheap. Get something that's got good coatings, good lenses. William Optics makes a phenomenally good guide scope.
You can get if you don't get like the Guide 61, even their 50 millimeter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Phenomenally good. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's an awesome guide scope.
Yeah, the Guide Star 61 is their Cadillac.
Yes.
I mean, it is their top of the line guide scope.
Yep.
Yes.
There's a free program out there called Focus Max, which is a freebie for shooting with, focusing on with one telescope, one camera. And it's a very good program to use. It's a standalone program if you wanted, but as you start to develop and you get into this program, you start getting into, say, like maybe looking at the SkyX, and SkyX has AtFocus 3, which is a phenomenal automated focusing algorithm. But you'll to the person that posted the question, as you start to develop and you get into this, you're going to start to find out that as you develop your skill set and you start to hone your skill set, and you start to buy more programs that give you more features, benefits, the automation of focusing will definitely be a lot more easier and automated with the higher end software programs.
Yeah.
SGP is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
It really is.
Okay, Gary Allman said, go ahead. Sorry.
No, SGP, Nina, they're freaking awesome. The one that Pete's talking about, I'm sure it's freaking great. I don't have any familiarity.
SkyX is really good.
Yeah. And even for, like with me, and if you are just getting into this and you're just, and you're looking for that ease of use type of stuff, which is what the ASI Air does, it does have a focusing, feature within module in there that you can use. And it tells you, and it works off of half flux diameter.
Yeah, HFD, yep.
It is, or that instead of so that's what it is. But remember, the lower and the smaller you can get that number, the better.
You get that nice U.
Yes.
Yep.
So,
the V curve. The V curve is what we call it.
Yes, the V curve. Yep. So eventually you're going to get into all this, and then you're going to progress into electronic assisted focusing. The EAFs, and you're going to get there. But just doing manual right now, that's what I would say. Use it. Get a Bahtinov mask. Use some of these aids that we're mentioning. you know. And then once you got everything in focus, then go ahead and start doing. Then you do your polar alignment, and then you're ready to start, you know, to get that mount. It's already up and running. Plug in, you know, a target. But don't forget, you have make sure that you are you have a good alignment.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to make sure you have a good alignment, you know, a good 2-3 star alignment, you know, at minimum, you know, I would say would be like a 3-star for me, would be like a 3-star alignment. Unless you're using, like, say, the ASI Air, which is, you know, doing automatic plate solving, then you don't have to worry about that.
Just got to worry
Right.
about your polar alignment, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're setting up every night, if you're not on a pier,
Yeah.
you know, if you're setting up every night, there are things that you can do to increase your effectiveness with your polar alignment. One of the biggest things is making damn sure that your plate, your tripod and your plate is level. If you're not level, it's going to throw everything out. You know, make sure that that's level. I know that's real basic, but man, that's an easy one to miss.
Yep.
You know, and
Very-
you know, I've showed in our talks here. You can go right onto Amazon and they sell the little bubble level inserts that go inside, like the I-beam levels and things. You can buy those, and they're perfect. They're only about that long, right? And they're nice encapsulated. There's a lot of them have little magnets on them. If you've got like a ferrous, you know, base, if it's aluminum base, it's not going to do you any good. But you know, and you can literally put one in this direction, one in that direction, and you can set it up, and you take those bad boys, tuck them in a little pouch, and you're good to go.
I got some stuff going on in the chat. Let's see. Norm actually made a statement. Actually, you know what? This is kind of cool. I'm gonna try this real quick.
Papa Bear, yes,
There
you still need to use the mask, not with the autofocuser, but but one thing when you're using EAF, the first thing they recommend doing is to get a good focus, initial focus, and that's when you're going to need to use that Batten-Off mask. Hey there, Wilson. so yeah. And so if you're going to use an EAF, then you want to get that initial focus done as best you can. And then the EAF, when you start the autofocus process, it's going to enhance it. And it's going to, you know, give you a nice V curve. So, and also if you're using, you know, the ASI Air or the EAF, also make sure that your exposure times are going to be long enough that you can get a decent V curve, okay? Because depending on the type of filter you use, like a narrowband filter, if you're going to do narrowband, you're going to have to do a longer exposure. You know, for me personally, I go 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, and that's on all of them, HA, O3, and S2. From doing narrowband, I'm doing 10 seconds. Yeah. Then, but for my
a little amount of light that's coming through.
Yes, exactly. But for my broadband, it depends. And it also depends on the scope I'm using. If I'm using, you know, like my Rasa, a couple seconds and it's fine. You know, so it just depends. Yeah. But yeah, so it's those things that you're gonna have to do before you get the, you know, if you're going to use that EAF, that you want to be able to make sure that you're successful using EAF.
You know, and not for nothing too, that if you are using a Schmidt, you know, a reflector telescope of some sort, it needs to be collimated every now and then, you know, or if you're taking your secondary out to put a Hyperstar on or something, and you need to collimate, go to Pete. I don't know if Farpoint is the only one that offers this or not. I know they do offer it, but I'm not sure if there's anybody else that does. The Batten-Offs.
A lot of people have been 3D printing those.
Yeah, you can actually pull them off the web, and you can send them to your library.
I personally have a Batten-Off.
So do I.
Yep. And and it's awesome for my collimation. You know, it's not always perfect, but it gets it really darn close. And then I can take that off, and then I start examining.
Defocusing on a large star.
Yeah, I start defocusing back in, and then I'll start doing my tweaks. you know. And one thing that I didn't realize in the beginning when I got, say, my 8SE, when I first got started, or even, you know, was that it's almost like a push-pull type, where you have to, you know, if you're tightening one, you're gonna have to loosen a little bit another, you know. Right. So I didn't realize that, because here I'm struggling and I'm tightening these things, and then I'm just tightening all of them around, and I was
And Derek, it reminds me. I used to be a bike mechanic many years ago, and I used to build wheels for one of the clubs here, and I used to train guys how to do that. It's amazing how that kind of setup with collimation is very similar to a bicycle wheel. You know, you tighten a spoke on this side, it's going to affect the spoke on the other side. It's going to affect the spokes on the, you know, all the way around it. Yeah. You know, so, and I would get guys that constantly tightening, and then sure as anything, one of those spokes would pop and it'd shoot like a rocket across the room.
You guys are going nuts on me. I haven't gotten a chance to get a word in edgewise, you two.
Sorry, man. You know what? You go right ahead.
No, that's okay.
What was the question, Dan, that Norm had posted?
I have no idea.
Didn't Norm post a question?
Yeah, Norm was posting a question. Actually, it wasn't a question. It was more of a statement regarding focusing.
Yeah.
And how often do you focus?
Because I was thinking is he didn't mention if it's temperature dependent. That's
I was going to say that.
Temperature dependent.
So when you're sitting there and you're doing focusing and you're just setting your autofocus routine every hour, I would not suggest that. I would suggest doing it as part of your temperature sensor. If you have a temperature sensor focuser, even if you don't have a temperature sensor focuser, have something that has a temperature sensor on it, whether that be if you have an Echo or with the Eagle, or if you have a most of the focusers out there have a little jack for a probe.
Probe, yeah. EAF has it. Yeah.
The expensive ones will have an internal temperature, and there's also the external as well.
There you go. So on the EAF, and
it's got
right here above.
It's a little 3 millimeter jack.
Yep, and you could use that to say, hey, every 2 degrees, do a focus routine, or every 3 degrees, do a focus routine. Because if you have huge temperature swings, like Pete said, if you have huge temperature swings through the night, like I do in New York, you go from literally 50 degrees during the day down to 28 at night. And, you know, if I'm only doing every hour, that could be a big issue when you're sitting there and all of a sudden 45 minutes of your data is shot because you're out of focus because the temperature dropped too rapidly.
Right.
You know, so that's something that
usually, what do you do? Do you do yours like maybe a difference of like a couple degrees?
Yeah, like 2 to 3.
2 to 3. Yeah. That's good. Mine to 2.
Yeah, 2 to 3 degrees. And also obviously,
here's a probe.
Every filter change, I do that. And what the programs that Nina uses, it calculates the HFD on every photograph that you take. Okay. So if it shows a variance of a certain amount, you could say, hey, I don't care if the temperature changed or not. The stars are getting too big, you know. So let's do a autofocus routine at, you know, a 0.5 change in the HFD or whatever it is.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah. So that's kind of really, really cool also. So I usually have 3. I have those 3 set up in Nina, whether I have an HFD increase, whether I have a temperature decrease, or change of filter.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Those are the 3 that I have set all the time, no matter what. So I don't depend on an hour or whatever. I can't, or 30 minutes. It's got to be the conditions that you're shooting as opposed to a time. That's what I would think. That's just me, though.
Yeah. Josh had asked a question about, you know, the focusing, and, you know, if you change your focus in the middle of doing your sequence, you know, that imaging session, does it invalidate your flats? And to Mark's and George's point, no, not really.
Not so much.
It really doesn't, especially because when you're doing your autofocus again, it's really you're tweaking it. It's not going to be too far off from what you originally have it.
If it is, you got a
you're not
problem.
gonna you're not gonna make a big enough change to your dust modes to
No
invalidate them.
way.
To invalidate, yes.
And that's not going to be a problem. Now, if you were starting and taking an image and your image is crap to begin with,
Yeah.
and you're out of focus and and you're trying to get flats out of that, well, yeah, that's not going to work.
Right.
But if you're starting at, I mean, actually, I think that I correct me if I'm wrong. I think they're getting away from the V curve. It's more, you should have more like a kind of
More like a U.
parabola, kind of
Yeah.
little U-ish. Because
Yep.
if you're, from what my understanding is, if you're hitting a straight V curve,
Yeah.
that usually means that your step size is probably too big or too small.
Right.
Usually too big. If it's too small, it's going to be more of a flat line.
Yes.
If it's too big, you're going to be going down. You're going to be hitting that bottom, and you won't get a really good average of
Right.
where your steps should be, as opposed to a flowing like
Yep.
U or parabola. So that's one point. So if you're getting that V, I would talk to you about lowering your step size a little bit, just so it goes down, but it's more like
A curve, and like
A
and not
curve.
a true curve.
a little bell curve.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Instead of
so-
this, V.
Yeah,
A true V.
the V curve is only good for what is that? The calibration and PhD. I think that's
If you are manually focusing, this is one of the crazy things. If you're manually focusing, you really it's one of the things where you might every once in a while you want to check.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to check. You're gonna have to manually just go out there or look at your images, pixel, really open them up and see how far off things are. Do a quick measurement if you can.
Yep.
Do a quick star measurement and see how well, compared to when you got started, how the difference is between your HFD or FH, that star size is. And then, even then, you might want to consider, going out there like every couple hours and, just checking it and tweaking it a little bit if necessary.
Manual focusing is a little bit of a pain in the butt sometimes.
It is.
Because you are going to have to check it. I wouldn't say every a couple hours. I would say literally every half hour, because the temperature change is just so massive.
Changes so much.
And and what I used to do is I would pause my sequence. And what I would do is, because I really like the way PhD kind of does it, because he's got that nice graph, nice big spike and everything.
Mhm.
If you go in there and you have it open, it's one of the views in PhD guiding, and it will give you a nice HFD, right? And it'll give you a nice histogram peak. And it'll give it to you. And, it'll go by the way you're guiding. So you can kind of play with that and get that low HFD that Pete was talking about. And low HFD means smaller stars. So smaller stars means in better focus. So that's one of the things that I used to do just to kind of tweak it when I was doing manual focusing. Thank God I'm not doing it anymore. If it's in your budget, get the $200 EAF and just go from there. If your budget is bigger than that, feel free to go. Well, Feather Touch is a little bit more past the budget sometimes, but there are other options out there. There are Pegasus focus cubes as well. There is Moonlight, there's Feather Touch, there's Asato, there's a whole bunch of different focusers out there, obviously ranging in price. But if you're just getting into it, let me tell you something. People keep on saying the mount is the most important thing, and it is. But if you have crap focus, I don't care if you're tracking or not. You could get away with a 10-second shot without even tracking if you're doing a short focal length.
Right.
If you're shooting 50 millimeters, you can go 5 seconds and be done.
Yeah. It's much more forgiving.
So that being said, but if your focus is shot, you can't fix that.
Oh, and that goes with anything in imaging.
The mount is the heart. You're focusing, that's your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes with anything in imaging.
Okay.
If your focus is off, you might as well just scrap you cannot fix bad focus. There are algorithms out there, there are programs out there that tout that you can do it. Take it from somebody who's been shooting, portraits for years. You don't get that eye in focus, forget it. Scrap it. Go move on. Cut your losses.
Start the project all over again.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still using it's still manual on capture, just using a programmable shutter
Yeah,
release.
he's got an intervalometer.
Yeah, so
Sounds like-
I'm assuming you're using a DSLR then.
Yep. So yeah, Josh, I'm telling you, do yourself a favor. Grab an EAF and an ASIR Pro and just
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Good
spend the
place to
600
start.
bucks. Spend the 600 bucks and just do it.
yeah.
Now, you let me tell you something. You will be so much more relaxed when you're sitting in January. If you're anywhere where I live or anywhere where most of these guys live, well, maybe not Scott in about a week, but actually Pete's probably in a good area too. But
No. Tonight is 26 degrees.
Oh, not so good. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's cold. And I tell you what, we got the front coming through on Sunday that you guys are going to get here
Oh, look at
in about 3 days.
41 degrees right now.
Oh man, it's warmer where you're at than it is here.
41. Holy cow! We're supposed to get to 60 next week.
Are you serious?
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
Global warming loves New York, I'm telling you. But whatever the case may be, I mean, we're supposed to be at 59, 60 by Wednesday, and then down to 20 by the weekend. Everyone's gonna have the flu. It's gonna be crazy. But
Focusing, back on what you were talking about with focusing.
Yeah.
Focusing can be a real challenge. It can be a real challenge, and I take it from somebody who tried several different iterations to try to get it right. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the ZWO EAF. It works great, in certain applications.
Yeah.
In other applications, there are better ways to go. But it is, especially for what Josh is doing. I think that would be a phenomenally good place to start.
Mhm.
And that, trust me when I tell you, Josh, you get that focus routine down, and you don't have to be worrying, screwing around with that intervalometer and that Badenoff mask all the time. Oh man,
Yeah.
you're gonna think you died and went to heaven.
EAF, yes, it does work. You have to purchase. You can get it from like Deep Sky Dad. You can even look them up where you
it's like
can
200
purchase.
bucks.
You can purchase kits that are basically 3D printed that work with the Red Cat, and you
got one.
Yeah, and I have one. I just don't have it assembled.
Yeah, Dan's got one. He's
Dan
getting
has
it right now.
Yeah, let him show you. Just
So it comes
it's
with
got everything in there that you will need.
timing belts.
Timing belts. Yep.
And now this is the one that comes with the focuser. This has the Deep Sky Dad focuser, very similar to the EAF. It's just black and 3D printed.
Yeah, box focuser.
Then it comes with focus rings. These are the timing rings, and you put this onto the focus ring because it's a helical focuser. You put it on. Timing belt goes on top of that. And then you got random screws and attachments and a ring. A couple other screws. And this is for the ASIR. It's a little placement for the ASIR. And when you're done, it comes out to be something like I showed before, something like this. Something very similar to that.
Yep. And it looks like that. And then you have, and the EAF is, built to use the ASIR.
Yep.
So they're both ZWO. So you put that all together with the ASIR, and you do the quick manual focus, and then you run the autofocus. You may have to do some testing, for backlash or anything like that. Get your steps right. But then once you get those steps right, then you're good. You're really good to get started.
Yeah, that's where the fiddling comes in.
Yeah, just so we get into what
his
Josh
version. The version.
Let's talk about that. There's two different versions of that. There is the one with the Deep Sky Dad focuser,
right?
And there's one with the EAF focuser.
You want to get the one with the EAF focuser.
So the EAF, this will not work with your ASIR.
Yeah.
This will work with everything else that's ASCOM. It's got its own ASCOM drivers. It will not work with the ASIR. This, you can take the ASIR. It's got the dovetail on it. You can plop it right on top, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's why it's got the brackets to mount the EAF.
Yeah, it's got a little Vixen dovetail right there.
Yeah. That would be a phenomenally good way to go. you
Yeah,
know? And
absolutely.
I think the belt driven with the EAF like that is a lot more stable than what I was trying to do with my 14, using that EAF to move that big 14-inch mirror.
Yeah,
You know, and it had that spring loaded, coupler that connected between the oh, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. Ugh.
Scott, you need to go with the Feather Touch micro focuser. That's exactly what you needed for that one. Yeah.
That's exactly what I did. I went full Feather Touch, the whole full Monty, yep. And it worked like a charm.
You see, that's the thing when you said earlier, there's certain things that these manufacturers make. Everybody has a weakness, and it's not to say that the ZWO-EF is a weakness, but on your particular setup, it is a weakness. So you have to think about where the right component part is going to fit for what you've got, and that's what's important.
Yeah. And you see that right there, what Pete just hit on, that is exactly why this kind of a community is so vital. It's so beneficial, because you have the experience of lots of other people to draw on to say, hey, I'm thinking about a C11, what do you think about using it with this setup? And, and we can draw on it from other people and say, you might want to look at this as well as that.
Yep.
That oh my God, that is huge, monumentally huge.
So guys, I just want to apologize. That first link that kept on going out that says Melon app, that is not the link to the Deep Sky Dad. There's a second link coming. It says Deep Sky Dad. That's the one for the William Optics and the EAF. So if you're interested, you could call me on an order for you, or if you just want to get it yourself, that's fine. Just give him some time. He is from Slovenia, if I remember right. So it may take some time to get there. So
I also popped in Agena Astro, a link there.
Oh yeah,
they have these in stock. They're 3D printed, and these are used with the Red Cat. You have a guide for the ASI Air, the EAF, and a guide scope. And this one sells for $85, and it has pictures.
The Deep Sky Dads, I think, starts at $199, if I remember right.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. It starts at $99. I'm sorry, $99, not $199.
Okay. But this is an example also, that you can take a look at. But there's out there.
If you've got a lot of good glass, camera lenses and such, good glass, why not use things like this, to utilize that great glass? I mean, imagine what you could do with an 85 millimeter, 1.4, or a 105 1.4.
Mm-hmm.
In a setup like that, or a 135, phenomenally good.
That's the kit that I purchased is for my Rokinon 135.
135, yeah.
Which is a phenomenal manual lens for astrophotography.
Yeah.
If you want,
and you can go ultra wide too. I think one of the great sweet spots is between 20 and 25 millimeter, for really, really wide.
That's great for like Milky Way.
Yeah.
I've used a 24 millimeter for Milky Way.
Yep.
And
yeah. So, I mean, this kind of setup is great, that you can then attach a lens like that and then use your cooled camera with, just some couplers.
Yes.
That's phenomenal. That's awesome.
Yeah. Here's the one with the William Optics, the EAF version.
Yeah.
Is that the 51? Is that the 51?
That's the 51. He has one for the 71 as well.
Nice.
And that's what comes in the box. So you just like I showed you, got the ring, got the adapter for the EAF, the timing belt, the raised bar.
That's nice.
This little knob here that goes onto the EAF as opposed to the coupling that comes with the EAF.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what that is for, actually. I never use that, I don't think, but it comes with also your metric bolts. They are metric. So that's something. And the other one that Eric was talking about, really nice too.
Gina?
So either one, from Agena.
As
well.
They're selling. So, yeah. And like I said, you can even start doing, some other surf the web for others. Though these are only just two options. There's other ones that are out there as well that I don't know about, but I'm sure work just
Oh yeah, there's lots of stuff out there, man.
out there nowadays.
It's
Let me.
amazing.
Let me see here.
What's the next question, Dan?
The next question is the 10-minute rule.
Okay.
And that means last question because I am sleepy.
Oh.
Well, it's 10:30 already.
7:30. Yeah, it's getting close, guys.
10
I got to install tomorrow too.
So what do we got? So we got what mount to buy, Red Cat, photometric color calibration, and workflow.
Let's go with Red Cat. What's up with the Red Cat? Let's get, because PCC talking about a mount to buy, we're going to go well past 10 minutes.
Oh, we're gonna go past 10 minutes on this too, so don't feel so
Oh
bad.
boy.
All right.
Okay, cutoff point is 7:40.
We're 3 hours late.
He's in Cali.
7:40 Pacific time, right?
That's it.
Here we go. Last question. So I have a question, of course. I'm looking to get a Red Cat 51 in the near future, but there are some objects that I would like to take a higher focal length. How bad of an idea would it be to get a good quality teleconverter and use it in line with the Red Cat for smaller objects? Would it just need more integration time? Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it. The Red Cat is specifically, in my opinion, specifically built for wide.
Yeah.
I agree.
If you're thinking that you want to do something, with a longer focal length, then
You got to get a lot bigger scope.
Then no.
Yeah, you have to go a different route.
If you're looking to do the blue snowball with a Red Cat, forget it.
No.
Okay,
You shoot a Ryan, fine.
Yeah.
Just remember that when you use a teleconverter, you're also increasing the vocal ratio.
Yeah.
And the vocal length, and you're
Now
putting
you're
more
making it
glass
slower.
in the optical train. So the more glass you put in, the more density
Aberration.
the wavelengths of light have to go through.
Yeah. And don't forget,
More aberration.
this is already, yes, you have more aberration. Don't forget, this is a Petzval telescope. So you've already got 4 elements already in there.
You don't need to put any more glass in the optical train.
No.
Absolutely not. And that goes back to something that we constantly talk on our show on. It's like they're the right tool for the right object.
Yep.
And that's something that a lot of people think that they could get past that by buying either not necessarily a cheap telescope, but a cheaper telescope and just throwing a Barlow in there or throwing stuff in there. And then all of a sudden you say, well, why is Sirius so dim? Well, you got a 5x, power mate in there, and you're trying to do it on a Meade 60 millimeter. I mean, so it's not going to work.
So yeah, it's bad. I'm going to put a plug out here for Telescopius.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to put a plug out here for Telescopius. It's one of my favorite planning sites, and you can actually go in there and add telescopes. You don't have to own the telescopes, but you can put in your own telescopes, the telescopes you're interested in, perhaps like a Red Cat, and maybe some others that, you might be interested in to have a longer focal length, and then put in your camera or cameras, and then select the targets that you're thinking about.
Right.
And then you can get a field of view reference to say, okay, the Red Cat, it works great here because I can be able to pull in Orion and the Horsehead. So I can do that nice wide angle. But it's not going to be so great for if you want to image, the dumbbell, or some planetary
one
like that. So, but then you're going to eventually, one thing about, this hobby is once you get really involved with it, it's never ending, and you're gonna end up having more than just one scope probably.
Yeah,
Because to your
absolutely.
point, you're gonna have there's a right scope for the right job.
Yep.
So
Actually, I'm
Yeah.
bringing up
Like in photography, everybody, talks about the nifty 50, and don't get me wrong, the 50 millimeter lens is a phenomenally good lens, but you're not going to get the same kind of compression with a 50 millimeter lens that you're going to get with a 70 to 200,
Right.
and you take and set that 70 to 200, in, and the compression that you get is going to give you a completely different feel.
yeah,
And it's the same thing in what we do, with astrophotography, that you got to have the right tool for the job. You're not going to get those DSO objects, with a 50 millimeter lens. It just ain't gonna happen.
right. Exactly. That's
Yeah,
exactly
so again, just to, and I know you were talking about Telescopius, and the thing that's great about Telescopius is because you can save all your cameras, all your telescopes,
Exactly.
everything
Set
under
up
your
an account.
profile.
Yes.
So even
And
if you
it's
don't
free.
have those, and it's free, yeah.
Yep.
But if you just want like a quick reference, like a quickie kind of thing, you don't have to go. Don't forget astronomy.tools.
astronomy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Phenomenally
If you just need a
good
quick
site.
thing, but if you have something to Eric's point with planning, and you have your scope and your all your devices, your reducers, you could put like 3 different things on there, 4 different cameras, 5 different scopes, 2 different reducers. You can do whatever you want. You could put a different combination for everything to see what fits. But if you just want a quick and dirty kind of thing really fast, astronomy.tools will do it really quick for you. You don't have to save anything, you just plop it in there. So I'm just gonna just to give a little quickie kind of look at.
Sure, why it's not dropping there.
Let's see.
Yeah, these are phenomenally good free tools that you should have bookmarked in your computer or on your phone or someplace. You should bookmark these things, and so that they're your go-tos. Telescopius is awesome.
Okay, so just to give you again an example, here is just a really kind of out of proportion thing, but here's your Red Cat 51 in red with the ASI 183, which is a sub $1,000 camera.
Yep.
And then you can't even see it, but that little yellow box right here is the C11.
Yeah.
Okay, so you really want to kind of look and see what camera, what scope. Now, this only shows you image scale. This doesn't show you brightness to go on what Pete was talking about when you're adding a lot of elements in there. This will get darker and darker, however many elements you start throwing in there.
Yeah.
So just remember that. But as far as image scale is concerned, if you want something quick and dirty, this is a way to do it. So let's say if you just wanted M51, all right, well, M51. Let's see, that's a Whirlpool Galaxy, right? So we'll do that. We'll add that to the view for the Schmidt. Now, here you go. So here's the Red Cat now.
Yeah.
Big red box. And now this is the C11.
Yep.
Okay, so C11, you do a little framing, it might be pretty decent.
Yep.
So when I take these guys out, there's the C11.
Yeah.
If you frame that just a little bit differently, that would work
It's
pretty
amazing.
nicely.
Yeah.
Might be a little too much, but it'll work.
But that's also native C11. That's no reducer.
No reducer.
No reducer.
Yeah.
No reducer.
Because
So
that
if-
looks like my C14 with my 0.7 reducer.
Well, here you go. So you have a reducer? Great. Okay. You got a 0.8? No problem. Add that to the view.
There you go.
And now there's your
There it is.
0.8 reducer with the C11. That works out a little bit better.
Yep. And you can turn and rotate that, to frame it up right.
Yep.
Frame it
And
up
in
or not right. Frame it up
Telescopius-
the way you like it.
Well, in Telescopius, you could actually rotate this
You can.
to kind of frame and save it and import it into whatever program that you're using.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of other cooler stuff in Telescopius that you kind of use. And if you don't know about it, I would tell you to go check it out because it is pretty damn powerful. It's really nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've even decided it's free, but you can sign up and become a patron of it. And I signed up to be, on to their Patreon just because I think even though it's free, what the developer has done, this guy has done is absolutely outstanding, and he deserves.
Oh
to get-
yeah, throw him $50, throw him $100, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Throw him $10.
Absolutely.
Heck, I do a monthly thing, and I just I'm throwing I throw money at it every month.
Yeah.
But
It's worth it.
it's
Take
worth
a look at Blackwater. Take a look at Blackwater
Blackwater
Skies. as
Skies,
well.
same exact thing. Yeah,
it.
it's another
Blackwater
great one.
Skies, works. It does a lot very similar to what. Yeah.
Blackwater
So
Skies
it's-
has got
program.
better pictures. It's a lot nicer pictures. It's got a lot of better. It's got color pictures, which is nice.
Yeah. Well, boys, I got an install tomorrow.
Yeah.
I got
Oh,
a Friday night.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a call on Sunday.
Okay, buddy, give me a call. I'll get some for you. All righty. I'll see you guys.
Take care,
All right.
Pete.
And Peter's all right.
Yeah, there it is.
Ah,
By the way, Eric, before we bounced out of here, I wanted to suggest something for your wind rig.
Yeah, for my little skybox here. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that let me just share this real quick. Okay, sure. Share. Did I do the right one?
Dan,
no,
there we go.
no, it hasn't come on my side. There it is. It's coming up now. Hold on. There we go.
All right. This
I like that.
no, that's not
Oh,
that's not it.
nice.
That's not it.
Talking
This
about
it's this
Oh.
here.
Okay.
If you were to why is that? There we go. Yeah, these things, or something like this. If you put this at the four corners of your rig
Mhm.
and just drill them down in, and then you can whatever strap you want to use up in here to to tie that down, that would anchor it. Because I mean, even with that the sandbags on there, you get enough wind. I mean, God forbid that push that over there, even with the sandbags on it.
It'll wreck your scope.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. You put four of these bad boys, one in each corner,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be in good shape.
Cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I just did a quick Google search on that, for ground augers, and that pulled it right up. And I mean, these are cheap, $13 each.
$13 a pop. No.
Yep.
Awesome. No, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's a good call out. Matter of fact, I should go out there and go check on this guy.
I just need to get back to where I was.
We are in a wind advisory, so I think maybe I should go out there and take a look.
Yeah.
Dan's like, "Oh God, Eric, no, you didn't."
Yeah. Anchoring that to the ground would probably be that would be my best bet.
Sure. Yes, Papa Bear, I am a White Sox fan. Absolutely. Southside. Born and raised. Are you muted, Dan?
Yeah, he is.
Yes, you're muted.
Can't hear you. No,
Can't hear a thing.
nope. Nothing. Oh, his battery died?
Battery died. That's why. And this is why I have everything plugged in, and I just
Yeah, he's doing that right now.
yeah. Very cool, Papa Bear.
North side.
Yeah. I'm not mad at you.
Do we have a show next Wednesday?
I think we do, and Friday, because I know Amy.
Yeah, I know Amy's coming on Friday.
coming on Friday,
Yeah.
and what is Dan doing? Nothing, Dan. This is
Gotta hardwire that sucker.
yeah. You got to hardwire that guy.
Yeah. I might be able to make the Wednesday show. Friday, I'm hoping that I'm gonna be in a hotel room, by 8:00 that night, and I'll be able to jump in and see.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you
but-
just hop in on YouTube and just chime in on a couple things here and
You hear
there.
me now,
yeah, there you are.
Hear you now.
but I got no headset now.
That's okay. Can you hear us?
I don't know if you can hear us. We can hear him.
We can hear you now.
Yeah, he can't hear us.
I don't know.
No.
Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
that's why I have my nice little boom mic over here and everything's plugged in.
Huh.
I was like, what in the world? Did he just jump off? He said he can. But no, I'm gonna definitely I have to take a look at, I want to make sure that this guy is not gonna go anywhere. So can you do me a favor, send me the link to that over in Messenger, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
And
no sweat.
I'm gonna go ahead and now look at that and order some anchors because I do not want to lose it.
Let me just do that before I forget to do that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Share. How can I share this? Can I share this? I don't know if I can share this. Let's try. Here we go. I got it.
Okay.
That's not it. Oh, there it is, right there. Share.
Dan,
Icon's too damn small.
He's coming in and out. Because I'm really curious if anybody has any other questions. You know what? I might do all four corners and in the center.
Can you
as
hear
well.
me now?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I just switched to my webcam. But
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
But you know what? I didn't charge this, and it hasn't been charged all week. That's the only reason why it died.
Ah.
That's that.
Okay. Oh, there it is.
So.
But I need to look for some definite auger boats or whatever those were called.
Now move a little closer. There you go. Okay, there you go. So let's see. So where we at? You want to see if you have one more question or no?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. I'm here.
All right, last question. That's bedtime. All right, so we have what mount to buy, photometric color calibration, and workflow. That's what I got now.
Let's go with mount.
Let's
What
go
do you
with the
think?
mount. All right, let's see.
Yeah, Eddie, I think you may have a good point there because I'm using the sandbags to weigh the middle down, center beam. So it wouldn't hurt. It definitely wouldn't hurt, especially if you're using PVC, and I've got that Rasa out there. So
All right, here we go, and this is going to be the same question that we always get. So here we go.
yeah.
Hey, my fellow astronomers and astrophotographers. Question for you all. I've outgrown my Star Adventure and like to get a nice telescope, but first I need the most important thing, the mount. Does anyone have a good recommendation on equatorial mount? Budget is $1,500. I was thinking the Celestron CGEM 2, but if anyone has a counter argument or better suggestion with a Y, that would be greatly and highly appreciated.
Okay. Well, okay, so he's using a Star Adventurer, so he's using a relatively low payload.
Yeah, but he's looking to get a nice telescope, so he's upgrading the scope as well.
He's upgrading the scope, so we don't know exactly what scope he's looking at, so we can get an idea of the payload.
Well, if he's looking at a CGEM 2,
if he's looking at CGEM,
so you're thinking 30 to 40 pound.
Yep.
But you got to remember, this question was probably pre-COVID, so the prices,
Yeah,
adjust for inflation.
Adjust for inflation and all that other sort of stuff. Because I don't know, they don't make is it the HEQ 6?
Yep. Let's see.
because that would be one to consider. Would be, I mean, even the if you boost up, if you want to bump up your budget a little more, not much, but maybe another $100, $200, you might even look at the EQ6R
Yeah, if you could get one.
if you can get one.
Yeah.
Absolutely, if you can get one.
So yeah, and again, that's $300 more.
It's a little bit more.
But it's definitely worth it. It's a belt driven. It's nicer.
Yep.
It's I have one sitting right here that I'm not using. You know what I found out though? I've never used the hand controller port in mine, and I went to go plug it in to see if it worked.
Yeah.
Hand controller port doesn't work. It works
Really?
USB, no problem. The hand controller doesn't turn on.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the second one I've come across with that problem. Works USB, doesn't work. I've never used it. I've never used the hand controller ever.
Right.
But
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're using an onboard computer, you don't need the hand controller.
yeah, but if I ever want to sell it,
Yeah.
gonna have to get it fixed. So, but yeah, so 1,500. I would tell Eric, I'm with you. Spend a little extra.
Spend a little extra.
I mean, it's not even about the weight capacity because they're very similar to each other. One's 40, one's 44.
Yep.
And that's not even that. It's just a matter of belt driven versus worm gear. I would tell you go with the belt driven. It's a lot nicer. I have both. I have the Atlas, which is worm gear, and I also have the belt driven Skywatch 36 Pro. And I gotta tell you, the both of them work great. The Atlas right now is at a friend's house. He's playing around with it.
The ASI Air does come with a
comes with a 2.1 and a cigarette lighter, I think.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll tell you right now. I have the box right here. Oh well. So the ASI Air Plus comes with a nice little red box. And it comes with it
does not come with a power adapter.
It just comes with a 2.1
cable
power. So it'll go into your power tank. It'll go into whatever. So you will have to supply power for it. It is 12-volt input. So it's a regular 2.1. So it comes with plenty of 2.1 cables of different lengths plus an extension. So it shouldn't be a problem with that. And you can run it right out of the power tank, and you should be fine.
Yep, totally fine.
You
can run it all night. Yep.
And this is finally going to get put together. Finally, I'm actually going to start using my ASI Air Plus. I've only had it for like 6 months.
Papa Bear is asking: Is belt driven? Is belt driven overall? Is it better than over worm gear?
I like the belt driven better. It's number one, it's quieter. Number two, if you have teeth, your teeth won't break. Over usage. But I got to be honest with you. I've had both the regular worm gear with the metal gears and the belt driven drive, and I've gotten really good guiding from both. So I really can't. I just like it. The fact, well, put it this way: the gearing, it's noisier. The belt driven's a lot quieter. Belt driven to me can be more accurate depending on how old your mount is, because if you do have busted teeth or bent teeth or stuff like that could be creating a problem.
Bad grease.
Well, they both could have bad grease. Hey, I would tell you if it's really only $200-$300 more, just get the belt driven. That's what I would do. Dan, is that ASI Air Plus for me? Why, you want to buy it, Eddie? I haven't used it. still in the box. I haven't even taken the wires out. But it is for another project, kind of very similar to what I've been showing all night. But that's another project I've been doing. So, all right, it's almost 11 o'clock. Final thoughts, everybody?
No, I think this has been, I hope that the questions we answered will help these guys out, these people out, and I think it was a really good show. So
yeah, a lot of fun as usual. Again, next time we'll have. Remember, I'm sorry that Hendrik couldn't make it tonight, but we will
be on next.
Yeah, he'll be on next month, maybe beginning of February. But don't forget, next week we got Amy Astro coming on next Friday night, and during that show we're going to be doing the giveaway for the Mars. So get your entries in. You can send it to. Let's see, can I put it up again? Send it to my email if you want, which is right there. Or you could send it to anywhere else. You could go through the website as well, info@astroworldweb.com as well. Either one, I'll grab them, and you'll be put in our famous spinning wheel of fortune, and we'll announce the winners sometime during the show on the 17th. Following that, we have Evo is going to be coming on from APT on January 7th because we're going to take a little break and hang out with the family for the holidays. And then sometime in February, we'll have Prima Luce Lab in. We'll have Tom and Omar and Filippo coming on, and maybe live, maybe not. Who knows? We'll see what happens when we get there. And then we'll have Hendrik back on as well. And soon we're going to be, I think we're going to do the Masters of Pix Insight again. We'll wrap around with Ron again and Adam Block and all those guys. So
very cool.
So it's gonna be a fun year. It's gonna be a lot of stuff. So
yeah, and I'm gonna do my level best to get to be able to jack in from the hotel next Friday. We'll fly by the seat of our pants on that one, but
hey, hopefully it'll be. If you're in the hotel and with the Wi-Fi, all you got to do is get on the Melon app.
Yep,
that's it. It'll be pretty easy. So
yeah, that'll be pretty easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting on with Amy. I followed her for a long time. I love her channel. I think she's just very cool and down to earth, and she loves what she does, and she makes it fun. And and she's just a what I would consider to be a great example of one of the ladies in this hobby.
Yeah. Absolutely,
for sure.
I would love to do that. One of those things like the women of astrophotography kind of thing.
So many great ones. I mean, look at Samara Nagel. She's another one. She's got a great setup. I am so envious of her setup.
Yep.
She's got a beautiful setup. And there are other ones too.
Oh yeah, there's plenty. There's Astro Stace. Stacy Downton.
Yeah. No, she's been away from YouTube for a while, but she's
making a slow return to YouTube.
Yeah.
Helena.
And
Helena.
Yeah.
Young lady. She's really into it.
Yeah. There's so many.
Another person's name I'm gonna butcher is Prinvera. I don't know. It's Prinavari.
Italian.
I would guess so. I don't know, but she's around. She's an astrophysicist that does a lot of work too. If you haven't checked her out, look at her. Pretty cool. There's a lot of people out there that it's not just a guys only club. Not by a long shot.
Not at all. Phenomenally good female astrophotographers out there and astrophysicists. Yeah.
All right. Well,
all right, guys.
I guess that's it. It's coming up on the 11 o'clock bell.
Yep.
James Webb. Don't forget, James Webb is launching on the 20th.
On the 20th or 21st?
It's either the 20th or 21st.
I thought it was.
I have to look out for it.
Because a friend of mine sent me a link.
How long is it going to take for them to open everything up?
6 months before it's ready to image.
It's the 22nd.
22nd.
7:20 a.m. And I got invited somehow to be part of an organization where you get in through the web and some special thing. It's called Eventbrite, and
Okay.
they're doing the whole kind of launch and right from
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
So it's gonna be pretty. I don't know how I got invited. I forget who invited me, but it's kind of pretty cool. So
There's some great YouTube videos up on James Webb and what it's projected to do, how it's supposed to work.
I just want to see
You know,
that thing
what they're
flat. I
looking
want
for.
to see that thing flatten out. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, that I mean the way that it opens up and that the shield that they use, that
It's like my purple bed. You know.
Yeah, it's really cool. That shield is sun shield is really wild.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll do a little special thing on the 22nd in the morning time. I'll get up a little early.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. It really is. I mean, I'm old enough. You're old enough to remember when Hubble, of course, all of us are, when Hubble went up, and in '91, and it was just, once they got it fixed and it worked and everybody went nuts and the images that came out of that over the last 20 years have just been amazing. I can't even begin to imagine what is possible with this new platform. It's just I think it's gonna blow the doors off.
I think it's got like 5 infrared cameras on
there.
there.
It's all infrared. It's really wild.
5 different types of infrared cameras over there.
Yeah.
There's like a medium band, there's a long band,
they've got it. They've got it in hydrogen. They've got it in a couple. Oxygen. They've got a couple of different ones.
It's gonna be interesting.
It's really cool.
Everyone's waiting to see that first shot. Hopefully, it's not like the first shot of the Hubble. But
Hubble is a little different with that. Yeah, their stigmatism
that first shot. We were talking about that last week. So, how bad that was. And they were like, "Oh, okay, we figured it out. Give us a couple weeks. We got you."
just go on to Google and look at the comparison of the mirror that is in Hubble, and then the mirror that is in this James Webb. It's like 4 to 5 times the size. I think it's 100 times the light gathering capability of what Hubble is. That's unbelievable.
That's incredible.
It's unbelievable. 100 times. This just, I can't wait to see what it's going to do. I'm just over the moon for it.
I'll show you right now. Here you go. Let me put it over here.
It's huge. I mean, it's huge.
It's ridiculous.
Hubble is like 3 of the panels
Wait till you see this picture.
The James Webb. Of the I don't know how. I think there's 16 panels or something like that. The octagonal or the
16 panels, I think.
Hexagonal, not octagonal. Hexagonal panels. I think Hubble makes up like 3 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
I'll show you real quick, and you guys can sleep on this. I'll show you.
And they're talking about building one that's even bigger.
Here you go. So,
yeah, that's it.
There you go. On the right side is a person, and that's the Hubble mirror, and then that's the James Webb mirror.
That's insane.
That's two of the parts of it are bigger than the Hubble.
Yeah. It's an amazing frame.
It's unbelievable.
And it reminds me a lot of the glass that we saw at Corning, the Corning Glass Center. They have they did a lot of grinding for telescopes and telescope mirrors and such, and they had that similar honeycomb design in their mirrors, and so it's this thing's going to be really, really wild. I hope that everything goes off without a hitch. There's so much involved, all the engineering that's involved behind it, and everything that has to go right. Because that sucker is 1,000,000 miles out. It's not orbiting the Earth; it's 1,000,000 miles out.
Yeah, well.
If something goes wrong, they ain't fixing it. It's a brick. It's a floating
That's
platform
a
brick.
multi-billion-dollar brick. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
It's $100 billion. Yeah, so I'm really hoping that everything goes off without a hitch, and it works, and because this really, man, I can't wait to see what it's going to do.
George said it's 2 million, not 1 million miles. 2 million miles out.
I don't know if it is that far, George. I
don't
was
know.
watching a YouTube video on it the other night. They were talking about it being 1 million miles out, which is, I don't know. I have to. That's a good question. It might be that far out. I thought it was.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, it's 3 times the distance from the Earth to the Moon, at 1 million. I mean, the moon is 300,000 miles.
Yep.
Yeah, it's 3 times the distance from the Earth to the Moon. You ain't fixing that easy.
Oh, it's a $10 billion gadget. They're calling it.
Yeah.
Man, this thing better go off without a hitch.
Telling you. I don't see where it's going to go. I'm looking at a picture of it.
They're supposed to. It's supposed to get between the sun, the Earth, and the Moon, and it's supposed to have its back to the sun, the Earth, and the Moon.
You're right, Papa Bear. That's a lot of dough if they lose this thing.
Yeah. Orbit, right? Let's see. Orbit around the Earth. It will actually orbit the sun 1.5 million kilometers, about 1 million miles away from the Earth.
Yeah.
The second Lagrange point.
Mark, I hope they're not controlling it with the hand.
All right. On that note, I think it's time for bed.
That's funny.
Oh man, that's funny, man.
Don't forget to get your engine.
Leave it to Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I can just hear that accent.
Oh man.
All right, guys.
SIA.
Yeah, well, I'm calling it, man, because I am.
It's been called like 30 minutes ago. It was called.
Yeah, I know, right?
But all right, guys, have a good night. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Appreciate it. And as always, remember, keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And we'll see you Wednesday night. Have a good night.
Bye for now.
See you, buddy.
And we're out.
Awesome. All right, guys. I am out of here.
Yeah, you're not the only